Americans here to fear for their lives and flee, many on vacation. And that's why the State Department, the U.S. Embassy, chartering that cruise liner to depart from Haifa. About 100 Americans, we observed at Fox, boarded that cruise ship and is now in the Mediterranean heading for Cyprus.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Tel Aviv. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in Israel, meeting with the Prime Minister and Defense Chief after visiting Saudi Arabia and Egypt over the weekend, encouraging efforts to avoid a wider regional conflict. President Biden postponing a scheduled trip to Colorado, holding national security meetings instead.
The president had been scheduled to travel to Pueblo, Colorado, in the district of Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert to visit CS Wind, the world's largest facility for wind tower manufacturing. Clean energy projects are a key component to the administration's Bidenomics agenda. Polling shows President Biden's handling of the economy continues to be unpopular.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Former President Trump hit with a narrow gag order in the federal election subversion case against him. The judge says Trump can't mount a smear campaign against prosecutors, also barring him from statements targeting possible witnesses and the judge's staff. Trump's lawyers argue the case is politically motivated and that a gag order is restricting his free speech. A proposed settlement in a long-running lawsuit over family separation at the southern border would make it harder for future administrations to separate migrant children from parents or legal guardians. The settlement between the Biden administration and the American Civil Liberties Union still needs approval from a judge. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's still a little bit on the cool side, but the winds are light. Actually, it's pretty nice compared to the weekend. 62 for the high. Tonight, clear and cold. 50s for evening plans. 38 for the chilly overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies after a cold start. Let's warm it up to 65. And Wednesday, partly sunny and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Diamond Shop is celebrating October, and you need to go check them out in Clayton so that you can celebrate as well with some beautiful diamond stud earrings. All month long in October, they have this special sale on diamond studs. Folks, you need to be thinking about the holiday season. I've got the countdown right here. It is, I got to do my fingerprint on my phone. I'll tell you in a moment. 50% off all diamond studs. VIPs are going to get free jewelry cleaner with their purchase. And then throughout the month, if you've purchased your diamond studs from the Diamond Shop before, they have a great opportunity for you to do a trade-up event. If you spend just $1 more on your entire purchase, that purchase price of your diamond studs is credited towards your new purchase when you trade it in. So we've got 70 days until Christmas. That's just a little over 2 months. This is a great way to get something that's going to have somebody's jaw drop when they open that gift from you and they get to see those beautiful diamond studs that, yeah, you saved a lot of money on at the Diamond Shop, working with the best people in the business. Become a VIP online, thediamondshop.net.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just 1 pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I could have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready, folks. Lakeside Renovation and Design is thrilled to invite you to our showroom grand reopening event on Saturday, October 21st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's the remodeling event of the year. Unlock massive savings at our event thanks to exclusive partnerships with top vendors and suppliers, delicious catering from Sugar Fire, and fantastic giveaways throughout the day. Turn your remodeling dreams into reality. Mark your calendar for Saturday, October 21st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Lakeside Renovation and Design, where your dream home becomes reality.
Some parts need the gentle, easy trim of a Gillette trimmer, and some need the closeness and comfort of Gillette Intimate Razor, while others need a Gillette Anti-Chafe Stick. Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The people have spoken. I want to thank you, St. Louis, for voting Onder Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And look, there have been some difficult moments over the past week. We've seen the worst of humanity on display, Howie. Really, the worst that could be done to humans was done to these Israeli civilians, women, children, people who were peaceful people slaughtered in their own homes. We watched as bodies were piled into the back of a pickup truck outside the Sderot police station. The very minutes after this took place, as the attack was unfolding, we were the first crew down here in southern Israel at an evacuation point, and we watched as mothers pulled their children out of the backs of their personal cars, trying to push them into waiting ambulances and get them any sort of help they could receive.
Ugh, man, listening to the reports from what is taking place in Israel, it's heavy and it's tragic, and we know that it's not going to resolve itself anytime soon. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday to you. We are going to speak at 1:05 with Dakota Wood from the Heritage Foundation. He's a senior research fellow for defense programs, very well-spoken and very knowledgeable about this region and about the implication of what we've been facing as a globe, but specifically what Israel is facing as they move through this conflict. So you're going to want to keep it right here for that. In a couple minutes here, we're going to speak with Gregg Jarrett. He is a Fox News legal analyst. We're going to talk to him about the trove of emails from a FOIA act that have been discovered. And, I was thinking about this, and we booked Gregg Jarrett. He's available at 12:10, so we take him right off the top of the show. And I know there's some people who might tune in and go, this is the first thing that you want to talk about. Well, you know what? There are a lot of things that we're covering on any given day. This news story is a very big news story. With war breaking out over the course of the last week and horrible tragedies, of course, that has taken the front line of news reporting. But we are going to continue to cover everything here on the Annie Frey Show. And this continues to be a very, very important subject for the American people to be paying attention to. The YouTube live chat poll for today, this kind of all comes together. The YouTube live chat poll for today is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? It's a simple yes or no option for you today. And if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you'll see we're broadcasting live, and you can vote in the live chat portion there. But Brad, when we ask ourselves if Joe Biden is the man in charge, and we're talking about emails on, maybe a smaller scale compared to potential world war, when you have to ask yourself if the president of the United States, who is also the commander-in-chief, is calling his own shots in his administration, I'll be very interested to see how this results. Show today.
Yeah, I mean, if he is... I don't know if I should answer how I feel about this yet or not, but I have some very strong feelings on this. And the question is if he's not, that gives me a lot of pause and a lot of concern.
Or the alternative, if he is.
That gives me a lot of pause and a lot of concern.
So you want to let us know what you think if the president, Joe Biden, is calling the shots in this administration, or if there's somebody else who is really guiding the decisions that are being made. There are so many implications, so many major stories right now that the administration needs to be in charge of, and we'll get what you think in the YouTube live chat poll. We're going to get to our guests now. I'm going to play for you. This is back from September. Representative Comer on these emails.
Joe Biden was using a fake email name to receive correspondence from his staff that he was copying Hunter Biden on. And I believe, Maria, that Hunter had to prove value to the Burisma owners that they were working on this, so he was forwarding those to the owners of Burisma. Look, this is obvious that Joe Biden abused his power as vice president for the sole purpose to protect his son, who was receiving millions and millions of dollars from this corrupt Ukrainian energy company. And this email ties Joe Biden and Hunter Biden into this corruption scheme without a shadow of a doubt.
So that was Comer from September, and now there are reports out in October that haven't really been talked about as much because of the news taking over the world news cycle, that there have been some more emails discovered. We go to our expert, Gregg Jarrett, on the phone with us now, Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor, as well as author of The Russia Hoax, Witch Hunt, and The Trial of the Century. Greg, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's good to have you.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you as always.
So I want to ask you, the initial question here. While there are massive news stories that, of course, are being covered everywhere right now, this is sort of flying under the radar. These 19,335 emails that have been discovered between Joe Biden's office and Hunter Biden's investment firm, Rosemont Seneca. What can you tell us about this almost 20,000 email find?
Well, it reconfirms what we've long suspected and known, that Joe Biden was lying, and he still is. He insisted, oh, gee, I knew nothing about my son's businesses, never even talked to him about it, which, any parent-child relationship, that sounds absurd on its face, and it certainly is. Now, we found nearly 20,000 emails between Joe Biden's office and Hunter's investment firm, 4,000 some odd with Hunter directly, another nearly 2,000 with Jim Biden, Joe Biden's brother. The National Archives fought mightily against the release, naturally, but they were forced to cough it up thanks to a lawsuit. We haven't seen the contents yet. We do know of one email in which Hunter's partner wrote talking points for the vice president to use to try to cover up the influence peddling schemes involving Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company, and Joe Biden personally signed off on the talking points. So, they were conspiring together to hide and cover up the corrupt schemes. Burisma was paying Hunter $1 million a year for access to Joe Biden and potential influence. The company was under criminal investigation. The chief prosecutor in Ukraine was seizing assets of Burisma, threatening to shut it down. And that's when the company sent an email to Hunter pleading to use his influence to stop it. Hunter flies to Dubai, meets with the Burisma chairman. He demands, get Dad on the phone. He does. And guess what? Days later, Joe Biden travels to Kyiv, and he threatens to withhold $1 billion in U.S. aid unless the prosecutor was canned, and of course he was sacked, and the entire investigation into Burisma magically vanished overnight. Sounds to me like the mission of influence peddling was accomplished.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking through this National Review article here, and I'll just read the first sentence here from this paragraph. The committee says it has identified more than $20 million in payments from foreign sources to the Biden family and their business associates. We're getting to the fourth quarter of this year where people are going to start thinking about taxes and everything. $20 million in payments to the Biden family. were those all reported on taxes and paid for, whether it be to a niece or a son or a brother, whatever it might be?
No, they weren't. And, you know, it's a crime for a public official like Joe Biden, then vice president, to use his office to confer a benefit in exchange for money to himself or a family member. You know, he doesn't have to accept a nickel of it if it goes to another, quote, person or entity. I'm reading from the bribery statute. It's a crime. And it's a violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, not to mention the FARA violations. And the Oversight Committee has now actually uncovered up to $24 million from foreign countries that flowed into Hunter Biden-controlled accounts, most of it funneled through shell corporations. Now, under the law, if that was done, as it seems, to conceal the true source of the cash, well, you know, Annie, that's called money laundering and conspiracy. And that staggering amount of money came from the very countries over which Joe Biden exerted authority as vice president in the Obama administration.
Yeah.
You know, so the evidence of corruption involving both Bidens continues to mount.
You know, I think to all of the legal challenges that Donald Trump will be caught up in court, off the campaign trail, you know, if he did the crime, he's going to spend time in court. That's the way the justice system works. But there are many instances where he's faced a charge, and a lot of people's question are, who's even the victim of the crime? Like, where is the victim? Is there a victim? When I'm looking at this list of where it says here at National Review, 20 million, you've said that there's up to 24 million now. The foreign sources of these monies are listed from the National Review as Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, China, and Romania. You know, who are the victims of these alleged crimes of the Joe Biden family taking their influence and their power that they have to enrich themselves? Do the American people serve as a victim?
Oh, absolutely. Every American is a victim. Because if you are selling out your country and their interests in foreign policy matters and compromising national security for self-enrichment or enrichment to your immediate family, now up to 9 Biden family members who received the foreign money, you know, you're betraying your country. And, of course, as we know, both treason and bribery are impeachable offenses. So, you know, this is incredibly serious. And, you know, as I say, the evidence continues to evolve. You know, Hunter's partner, Devin Archer, testified that they were selling a brand, but the brand was Joe Biden and his power to influence events in foreign policy, benefiting the people paying the money to the detriment of the American people. You know, and as you say, millions of dollars wasn't paid taxes on. That appears to be why Hunter Biden was hiding it all. Well, that's tax fraud. It's tax evasion. Those two are serious crimes, and yet he's never been charged. You know, the IRS whistleblowers came forward, and they recounted in detail how the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney in Delaware were running a protection racket for the Bidens, political interference and preferential treatment. So I'm pretty convinced that other than the gun charges, the fix is in, and Merrick Garland, the Department of Justice, and the U.S. attorneys will see to it that a lot of this gets buried and no criminal charges will be brought.
We're speaking with Gregg Jarrett, Fox News legal analyst. One question before we let you go. The evidence continues to mount, and I hope that the House of Representatives gets their act together so that they can continue pushing on these very issues. But as we continue to find out details like the 24 million that maybe will grow, different countries involved, whatever it might be, is it possible that Joe Biden was acting in the capacity of the vice president at this level of personal enrichment for himself and his family, and nobody else in the Obama administration would know this was going on?
No, there are emails in which, you know, people high up in the Obama administration were expressing deep concern. People who then brought it to the attention of the vice president's office and to Joe Biden personally. And there are also State Department people who were watching what was unfolding and were deeply alarmed because they recognized, I think, deep down what this really was. It was profiteering, self-enrichment, and using your office over foreign policy matters that could jeopardize America's national security. Selling out your country to a foreign adversary is pretty serious stuff. In my judgment, they weren't alarmed enough, and they should have put a stop to it, but apparently they didn't. They sort of cowered and let it go along, and in that way they were complicit in covering it up.
Well, we need to stay on the story, even in the midst of other very, very large tragedies happening around the world. And Gregg Jarrett, thank you so much for the time today. You and your analysis and the books that I encourage people to check out that you've written, The Russia Hoax, The Witch Hunt. You've been watching a lot of this happen and written about it in very, very good terms. We appreciate your time today, Gregg. Thank you.
My pleasure, Annie. Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. Fox News legal analyst, former defense attorney and law professor Gregg Jarrett. His books, The Trial of the Century, I believe, is the most current one. The Russia Hoax and Witch Hunt. You can check those out now. Good Christmas gifts as well. Find him on X and tell him thanks for being on with us at Gregg Jarrett. 2 G's, 2 R's, 2 T's. It's a lot of doubles. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner here. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? That's the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll for today. We want to know what you think because there's a lot going on. And to think that the man in charge of everything may not be in charge of anything is pretty disturbing. Tell us what you think on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. It's been a while since I could call you. And everything I can remember. It's my best.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. You find them online at igotfloor.com and you start your flooring shopping purchase. I love the smell of fresh carpet. It is one of the things if you've ever walked into a brand new home and everything is fresh and everything is new, a lot of that newness smell comes from the fresh carpet that you've put into your house. Now, I want you to think about when you've gone in and maybe you spring clean and then you fall clean and you're getting into the flooring and you move your furniture to get underneath and you see, oh my gosh, this is what the carpet used to look like and this is what it looks now. You're wanting to replace it. Go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them online at igotfloor.com right now and check out the amazing opportunities, deals, and quality products that you can shop when you're looking for that flooring replacement. If you're looking for the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line, it's got silky softness, the best superior performance, 3 times more individual fibers than ordinary nylon carpet, stain-resistant fibers. That's good if you got kids and dogs and stuff like we do in our house. You want to invest in something that's quality, but you don't want to overpay for it. That's why you're shopping at Michael's Flooring Outlet, locally owned and operated by one of the best families in town. You can find them online at igotfloor.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
The deal of the year is here, and it's lighting up your path to a dream home. In celebration of McKelvey Homes' 125th anniversary, unlock a special mortgage interest rate starting in the 5s. Enjoy $2,500 in free closing costs. But that's not all. They're donating $18.98, the year they were founded, to St. Vincent de Paul for every sale from now until December 31st. Huge savings, a beautiful home, a chance to make a difference. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Operation Food Search knows it can be hard to find ways to help others, even when you want to. That's why they make it easy to join the mission to fight hunger. From volunteer opportunities for the whole family to convenient ways to donate food and money. Every dollar you give provides $10 to feed local children and families. Learn more and spread the word at OperationFoodSearch.org. Join the mission to provide food today and help create a hunger-free tomorrow.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend. Saturday from 3 to 4 and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
West, on a plane bound west, I see her.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Land, blessed motherland, the place where I was born. Scars, yeah, she's got her scars. Sometimes it starts to worry me. 'Cause lose, I don't wanna lose sight of who we are. From the mountains high to the wave-crashed coast, there's a way to
I'm confident that Israel is going to act under the rules of war. There's a standards that democratic institutions and countries go by, and so I'm confident that there's going to be an ability for the innocents in Gaza to be able to have access to medicine and food and water.
Would you support Israeli occupation of Gaza at this point?
I think it'd be a big mistake. Look, what happened in Gaza, in my view, is Hamas and the extreme elements of Hamas don't represent all the Palestinian people. And I think that it would be a mistake for Israel to occupy Gaza again.
So the president speaking this weekend, was that the 60 Minutes interview? I think it was a 60 Minutes interview. And yes, and he was talking about how it would be a mistake to occupy Gaza. Dakota Wood is going to be on with us at 105. We're going to have an actual conversation with him about what's going on. Give us the updates. What do we need to know? And as we go to break here, I turn and I look up at Fox News, and our friend Jim Carafano is on there right now. So we want to play for you a little bit of what he was saying. He's talking with Martha McCallum. That's not Martha McCallum.
Having two. So anybody who's seen Top Gun knows
let's
how
listen in.
complicated it is to fly stuff off a deck, and then you have the pilot, and they've got to come back, and they've got to rest and refuel and fix everything. So when you have two carriers, you get much closer to having the capacity to conduct sustained operations.
So can
which
you,
basically means,
and let me interrupt you right there, because I just want to make sure everybody has the geographic location approximately, because we are not given the exact location of this group. But so we have an approximate location. Talk about the distance off of the borders here, what it means to be a certain distance from being struck, and also a certain distance where you can strike.
Right. So what happens is when you have two carriers, you can fly stuff out and you can keep stuff permanently over the target. So it really extends the range and the time on station that you have and the responsiveness that you can do it. So where this really probably comes into play is, honestly, Syria is kind of like a free fire zone. And we all know that one of the real challenges and the concerns about the U.S. and Syria has always been is Iran being able to essentially build a land bridge, a logistical pipeline that feeds into Hezbollah, that allows Hezbollah to conduct sustained operations against the Israelis, because they can just keep feeding in equipment and ammunition and supplies. So very likely what the U.S. is saying here is look, we will pummel all that stuff.
Yeah.
The buildup, the change, the stuff to move in, anything in Syria will probably die if you guys start a second front. That's probably the message they're
So
sending.
obviously we're left with an approximate location off of the southern coast of Lebanon, obviously identifying where Gaza is here on the map, and that carrier group in the region with the Eisenhower on the way there. Meanwhile, I want to flip the screen here so people can continue to get an idea of what is at stake with this evacuation, James. Can you add to what we're looking at as far as now the evacuation of 1.1 million people from the northern area in the red here in Gaza? They have been told to evacuate south. We know the Rafah border crossing has now been opened up. We're told about 1 million people have been able to get out. What is this like, and what do we know about this evacuation so far, James?
Well, it's a lot of people, and every day that provides more opportunity for people to move out and to house them. So that actually it reduces the casualty. But let's be honest. I mean, just run the numbers. 1 million people that you're trying to move. And remember, Hamas actually doesn't want people to move. They want a human shield. So no matter how many days we have, how much time, it is going to, there are going to be civilians in harm's way when the Israelis go in. Now, the last time they went in a major way, was in Operation Lead Cast. They were there for 22 days. So so we're probably going to see an operation, if the Israelis go in a major way, that is going to be at least many days. And so that means that people are going to be displaced for days, probably weeks or longer, because remember, they won't be able to go back because the stuff where they live will be destroyed.
All taken into consideration as we look at those evacuation routes. That will be key. And we know right now Hamas has about 199 held hostage there. It's estimated that about a dozen of them could be American. Real quick, James, want to move on to our next screen here. When you look at those evacuation routes, two main roads for evacuation, just to give people an idea of how difficult of a process this has been under such a timely manner. Real quick, want to finish off here, James. I'll toss a question to you on the northern Israel border, obviously focusing on those recent attacks coming from Hezbollah out of Lebanon. We're identifying some of the recent clashes here. You see them in the yellow right on the border, James. The rocket attacks are labeled in blue here. Right on the border, the drone strike in the green here, anti-tank fire in the red. But this border, obviously with the Israelis telling their people to evacuate that northern border, this is sending a strong signal about this war widening. James, what can you tell us?
So two things. One is if they were going to open up a second front, the logic would be you would wait till the Israelis are decisively engaged in the south before you attack in the north, right? So we've already seen the Israelis doing a lot of preemptive operations to try to slow down this. But this is the key thing to watch for, is if the second front opens up.
Very good. James, thank you very much for
James Carafano on Fox News. I'm going to have to change the way I call him now. Maybe it's Mr. James Carafano to us. I don't know. That was interesting, listening to him talking to Sandra Smith. And I told these two, Leah's in the studio learning how we're doing a few things right now, learning over Brad Schiller. You can come to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and say hi. She's in the background. And I said it was Martha McCallum. I'm like, that's not right. And then when we put the sound on, I'm like, all I can hear is Bill Hemmer calling her Smitty, but I can't remember what it stands for. Sandra Smith. I'm in true Monday form. Everything's not working correctly. I had 2 events this weekend. The first one was Night of Rockstars. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Brad, you were at Night of Rockstars.
I was.
Wonderful event.
Oh, it was awesome.
Again. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And the other event that I was at last night was in Oakville, Illinois. It was a Washington County GOP event, and I spoke at it. And it was at the Original Springs Hotel. Have you heard of the Original Springs Hotel?
I have not.
It's haunted.
Oh, great.
It's haunted.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Well, I would challenge you to go check it out. It's the perfect place. This hotel, I'm not getting paid in any way, shape, or form to tell you this. I want you to understand that this is just for me. It's on top of a mineral spring. So they have like a mineral bath place where you can go. It's like a bathhouse and stuff. It is a moment in time. And if you were looking for somewhere to stay in October, I am so serious about this. Go to Oakville, book a room one night at the Original Springs Hotel and stay in this place. It was amazing. The food was wonderful. The people are wonderful. And it is exactly where you want to go in the fall to spend a night. Just do it. And tell me, if you go, I want to know how your trip was. It's incredibly unique. And I didn't know this. We're driving out to Oakville, about 45-minute drive from Madison County where I live. And I had put in the GPS, the destination. And we've been driving for like 15 minutes. And my husband goes, where are we going? And I go, I'm not sure. And I looked it up. I go, it's the Original Springs Hotel in Oakville. He goes, isn't that place haunted? And I go, I don't know. And so I said last night at the event, I was really, really excited and proud to be a part of the event where the Washington County GOP and the Original Springs Hotel folks came together to finally get the dead people to vote Republican. So I hope that is the outcome of that endeavor last night. It's huge. This could be transformative in the ways of Illinois election outcomes. And I also heard from Charlie Meyer last night. He's a state representative, wonderful guy, farmer, hardworking state rep Republican. And I think you said Washington County is one of 2 counties in Illinois. Forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. One of 2 counties in Illinois with 0 debt. None. And they have their county board has 13 of 15 members are Republicans. I'm like, you guys don't really have a whole lot of room for improvement here. I don't know why you need me to come out here. Why don't you guys come to where we are and tell us things instead of me coming? But it was a great event. Congressman Bost was there. Darren Bailey was there. Jason Plummer, State Senator Jason Plummer was there. He is such a fighter and a hard worker for common sense in the super minority in the Senate. Charlie Meyer, Representative State Rep David Freese was there and got to speak with his wife as well. And it was just a really wonderful event. But it was at the Original Springs Hotel. And I said last night to that crowd, I go, I'm going to try to send people here so we can show these dead people how cool Republicans are and see what we can get out of them in the next election cycle. So go check it out, the Original Springs Hotel in Oakville, Illinois. Go book a room, eat dinner there, make a whole night of it. It's exactly where you want to be in October, in November. Go fill up those rooms. It was such a cool event. And I was really, really grateful to be a part of it. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins in studio for Wiggins America with the Monday Roundup. Everything you missed over the weekend, and Lord knows we're missing a lot of stories with the heaviness of the news. Ryan Wiggins will catch us up when we come back.
This is still the place that we all call home.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Free, nothing feels like free, though it sometimes means we don't get along. 'Cause same, no, we're not the same, but that's what makes us strong. From the mountains high to the wave-crashed coast, there's a way to find better days, I know. It's been a long, hard ride, got a ways to go, but this is still the place that we all call home.
World. You find them online at windowworld.com. Your shopping endeavor, you're looking for windows. At first, you think this is not really an exciting way to spend a chunk of change. But then you start understanding how quickly the domino effect is for having brand new windows that are going to have the energy efficiency that you need, that are going to give you maybe an upgrade in the aesthetic of your home. Don't forget about that. Window World is there to walk you through the whole process and to make sure that you're getting incredible value for your hard-earned dollar. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. These windows from Window World are simply the best, but for less. When you work with them, you can qualify for 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So this is another great way to spread those payments over the course of about a year and a half, same as cash. This is a good way to be able to make the full replacement that you need to do. Plus, they come with a lifetime warranty covering all parts, glass breakage, and labor. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Online right now at windowworld.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The IRS definitely ramped up operations since the pandemic slowed them down, and activity only increases from here. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. If you're currently under audit or you haven't paid your taxes in the past, now's the time to call the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS has a published Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which says you have the right to retain legal representation, because IRS problems are legal problems, and the Lance Story Law Firm focuses specifically on addressing IRS issues for our clients. It's all we do. We get out in front of the IRS, devise the best resolution plan, and work to make sure you're able to take advantage of every program you're qualified to receive. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure company, call the Lance Story Law Firm. We're local, located right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-238-7360.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Wood, but it's maintenance free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary, get same as cash financing on James Hardie and Pella windows and have a banner day.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. You go to the YouTube page, you type in Annie Frey, this comes up, and you vote in the poll. It's Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration, yes or no? We want to know what you think. We'll reveal the results of this poll at the end of the show. The time right now, 12:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
23 in 23. It's our 23rd birthday today. Thanks for being here, whether it's been for 23 years or 23 days. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
one spot, now she found a replacement. I swear now I can't take it, knowing somebody's got my baby.
You know who sings this? This is Harry Connick Jr.
That's what I was going to guess.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to say Bublé, but I always get them confused.
It's one of the deeper cuts.
Okay.
Off of the Christmas album.
This was like an 89, 90 era stuff.
Well, no, you just have to play the last track on the CD for an extra 20 minutes, and then it's hidden.
Oh, those were so cool. Did you ever do the ones where you had to rewind to get before the first track?
I never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
How do you do that?
So you put it in your CD player.
And a CD?
And then the first track starts, but then you rewind past back where the first track would have started.
-1 or
Yeah.
Give me
something
an
like
example of an album that did that.
Oh, albums that you... one of my favorite Supergrass albums did that.
I don't have any of those
yeah.
at home.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to come up with
Well, I was hoping you'd say Jagged Little Pill, 1996,
No.
Alanis Morissette, and I'd be like, ah!
No, this was a later technology. I think it came along like after 2000.
So
You
after
wouldn't find
MP3s?
those. I think so. I don't think this was like in the 90s too much.
I told my MP3 story on the air before, but I bought my first MP3 player. It could like the hard drive on the MP3 player. It was like this big, and I think it would hold like 4 songs on its own. But it had the spot for the card that you'd insert. But that was a technology I'd never experienced before. Had no idea about it. So I had an MP3 player, and I just kept changing out the 4 songs.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, that's what you had to do.
I didn't feel cool when I figured out what I was supposed to do. Kind of felt stupid.
Well, but you were using the technology in a way that it was intended.
But I grew up on farmland, and I would use the MP3 player to cut grass that would take me 4 hours, and I just listened to the same 4 songs all the time.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's problematic.
Yikes.
Wiggins America?
Yep.
All right.
Wiggins! Monday Roundup! Cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Yep. There you go. There you go.
I'm glad you did that finally.
You're welcome.
It made me happy.
You know what?
The people who know, they're also very happy right now.
They loved it. The original Springs Hotel, I can't believe you brought that up. That place is amazing.
Super haunted.
That was your first time there?
Yes.
It was awesome. My wife, when her and her twin sister turned 40, me and my brother-in-law sent them there for the weekend.
My dad would like to say my brother-in-law and I.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It's my dad. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not
But
me.
it's not you.
I think you're great.
Yeah, I know you do.
So does my dad,
Yeah.
actually. He loves you.
That place is awesome. We should talk about that
So
sometime.
did you stay at it?
No,
Or
I've
just them?
never been there, but my wife and her twin sister went there for a
Did
weekend.
they see any ghosts?
I don't know. I don't think so, but they loved it because it is such a time capsule. It's
Look
like
at this place.
turn of the century
Oh, whoa.
American spa.
Look at that. Is that didn't that place look like it could be in a movie?
I have eaten there before though, and it was a good restaurant.
Yes, I ate there last night. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Go to the originalspringshotel.com and book a room right now. I want them to be full for the rest of October and November because of people like you.
Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah, go.
Let's start with, since you were on the topic, whether it's strange, footsteps echoing in the hallway, or an eerie presence when alone. A new survey shows that 1 in 6 Americans believe their home is actually haunted. And the paranormal experiences are more common than you might think. According to spine-tingling surveys by All Star Homes, 2 in 5 people have experienced something unexplainable or unusual in their home.
I have a 13-year-old boy. Everything's unusual.
Yeah. We just had a conversation about this weekend, actually, and I don't know. There are always creaks in the house, but attributing them to ghosts, I think, is a little bit much. But everybody gets those in their
just
house.
will that into your understanding of things. Like it doesn't ever even occur to me.
Really? You never ever think about that anymore? Are you afraid to go in the basement? Are you afraid of the dark at all anymore as an adult?
I'm afraid to go in the basement, but because of the spiders, which I'm still working on. I got
Okay.
a lot of messages from people. I haven't had time.
Okay.
Which is amazing. I also haven't gone into the basement. No, not because of ghosts. Although that one spider was so big, its ghost is probably haunting my basement.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
It is dead.
Yeah.
Like as many times as you can dead something.
Are you talking about the one that we all experienced with you on camera, or a different one?
Oh, unfortunately, that was a different spider.
Oh, this is a different. Okay.
Blech.
Oh, this is the wolf spider you were just talking about the other day.
I don't like the words wolf and spider together.
All right. I won't belabor your spider endeavors then, because apparently you're not afraid of the dark. I'm amazed, though, that my kids are still, 9 years old, 6 years old. they'll go upstairs and they're like, but I'm alone. And I'm like, I can see you. I can see. We have a loft. I can see you right now. You're fine. And they're still like, but I don't want to be up here by myself.
It's like, you can see me, but you don't know what's down that way.
Yeah.
Do you believe things can be haunted, Brad?
No.
Leah's in here. Leah, do you believe that things can be haunted?
Yeah.
Great. Ryan?
I'm on the bubble. I don't know. I'm willing to listen.
That's a yes. I say no.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't believe in the supernatural.
For sure. They're demons and angels.
Yeah, that's kind of where I go, is that it's got to be something else. I don't think it's a lost person.
I don't believe that Casper is at the original Springs Hotel, but just because I didn't see him doesn't mean... Is Casper a male or female?
I would think Casper was a male for some reason.
The movie he was a male.
Was he?
Yeah.
Did they show it?
He was a little boy, had a sled.
Oh, okay.
He had a sled.
Duke Snyder, baseball
girls
fan.
don't sled.
Girls don't sled.
There's no way that's a boy.
His room was a typical little boy's room.
Casper, girl or
Is
boy?
Casper a girl or boy? Let me know
Male.
by the end of this segment. Really, it says?
Well,
I mean, if he was a little boy whose ghost was that of a boy, he would have to be a boy.
do you have any more content while I figure this out?
Nationwide emergency test causes controversy for Amish communities. So we all remember this. We all experienced this together. It was, a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
Time out.
Okay.
According to the film, Casper was a 12-year-old boy living in Whipstaff Manor because he's a ghost of a person.
Okay.
Boy.
You were right.
Yeah.
12 years old.
I watched that movie a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Should have just believed him.
So a week and a half ago, we were all, I guess we knew because we're in news and we were told ahead of time, but most people were surprised by this EAS test that went off on their phones. Every radio station, television station was affected by it. Apparently, there's controversy in the Amish community, say that, because across the country, they're being shunned now after the recent nationwide emergency test exposed insiders with secret iPhones in their pockets, or the secret smartphones in general.
There were worries that people, like if you were somebody who if you were being held captive or something like that, if you were a hostage, if you were somebody who had been, let's just say you were in a situation, maybe you're in an abusive relationship and you had a phone and it was tucked away and now it goes off, you no longer have that phone and you probably are getting punished for it.
Yes. This is exactly what's happened in the Amish community. People were hiding them, and then they went off, and everybody else found out who had phones and who didn't. And they're being shunned in their communities now.
But the good news is they're on a group chat.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't anybody tell me?
They joined an online forum, and now they found a new community. Over the weekend, this is not funny. I'm laughing at the last story, not this one. Suzanne Summers passed away. She lost her years-long battle with cancer just one day before her 77th birthday. One day before she turned 77. The actress died early Sunday at the age of 76, the longtime publicist tells us. She was famous for, of course, do you know who Suzanne Summers is, Leah?
I don't.
Okay, so she was famous for Three's Company.
No.
Three's Company.
The Thigh Master. I did too. And then, but I forgot how long she was the mom on Step by Step. Does anybody remember Step by Step?
I didn't know she was the mom on that.
I forgot too.
Step by
I don't know that she was in it a whole lot. Yeah. There you go. There you go. That show was on for 9 years.
TGIF.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of like the second hour. It was never the lead. It was always just kind of there, though. All right, last one, if we have time here. Everyone, it seems, is fixated on space exploration right now. But if surviving among the stars
Especially Brad.
Right, and Leah. Among the stars is long-term aim of such endeavors, there's a hurdle that needs to be overcome. You know what that hurdle is? Human reproduction.
Gravity. Oh,
yes,
okay.
That's another one.
Yes.
But can't tell you how many times I get those two confused.
I can't believe I got that wrong. That just seems
human
like
reproduction. Making babies in space, whether by artificial means or naturally, is fraught with issues, most notably radiation and gravity. But there's a company called
Gravity.
See? There's a company called Spaceborne United, based in the Netherlands, that is addressing these issues. They have figured out how to do a miniaturized version of IVF and an embryo incubator, which is ready to be launched on a mission to access humanity's ability to reproduce in space. So Unfortunately, I know what you're thinking. The natural way is not the way yet. But Spaceborne United is making it possible. Do you know no baby has ever been born in space before?
That's shocking.
I don't know why it shocked me. I was like, really? It seems like something we would have done like in the 60s. Like, let's test this. Let's see.
Why?
No, it's not it.
No?
People don't even think we actually landed on the moon, Ryan.
That's very true.
In the background of the moon landing is a woman giving birth.
It's like it takes 9
Maybe
months.
it's a man
for a baby to become a baby. You know.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna piss me off? If the first baby born in space is born to a man. The patriarchy is now universal.
You know what's crazy, though, is that if this happens, because it could happen
Which
now.
part? We're talking about a lot of things.
The part where a baby could be born in space or conceived in space, that baby would be considered extraterrestrial. You'd have the first human extraterrestrial ever.
This is the freaking wildest ride in the wilderness. Thunder Mountain's got nothing on me.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
There you go. Leah, that's how it's done.
I like you. I like
Right
how that has the
It's just somebody recording it.
actuators or whatever in the
Yeah.
background that are going.
It's not an official recording.
No, it's not. But it's perfect. Let's stick around for Dakota Wood. On the other side of this break, we're going to get to the bottom of the latest of what's going on in the Israel conflict. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Your home has made you equity rich on paper, and you're planning on using that cash to retire, travel, or just downsize into a new place that's paid off. Good for you. But the longer you wait, the greater chance higher interest rates could chip away at your home's value. While your home value is still high, the time to act is now with TrueHold. TrueHold buys your home now, and you can stay in your home for as long as you want. TrueHold buys your home for its best current value, and you bank the cash. Cash to do whatever you like, while TrueHold takes care of property taxes, insurance, and upkeep. Don't miss this opportunity to cash in on your equity and stay in your home as long as you'd like as a renter. Visit TrueHold.com and discover how much TrueHold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's TrueHold.com.
Slim 180 is there to help you lose weight and to make sure that you are looking your very best and feeling healthy once again when it comes time to drop in the pounds that you've maybe put on over the course of the last few years. Maybe you've always struggled with your weight and you're looking for a solution. MySlim180.com has that for you. You can register online right now for a free consultation at MySlim180.com and make sure that you tell them that the Annie Frey Show sent you. You're going to get $25 off an appointment. When you mention my name, you're going to get 20% off a nutritional guidance, crave, or regenerate weight loss program. You can use your FSA and HSA programs to pay for this. So especially with those FSA programs, it's October. It's the middle of October. Actually, it's past the middle of October, folks. If you are looking to spend those FSA dollars before they are gone at the end of the year, remember, this is a great way to access semaglutide or tirzepatide for much lower than you will get at the pharmacy. Lose weight with Slim 180 up to 20 pounds in as little as 6 weeks and look your best in holiday photos online at myslim180.com.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or zero interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The State Department just confirming that Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sheltered in a bunker for 5 minutes as air raid sirens went off during their meeting today in Tel Aviv.
Rockets continue to fly out of the Gaza Strip. Longer range rockets flew today, reaching all the way to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem.
Fox's Mike Tobin says Israeli lawmakers also had to take cover during a meeting in Jerusalem.
The way so many Israelis have had to do over the last week as this war rages on.
This as Israel continues to prepare for an expected ground invasion of Gaza amid continued appeals for humanitarian aid and concern for civilians. Hamas facing more calls to release hostages. It's holding 199 from multiple locations from multiple nations, including the U.S. The federal judge in an election subversion case against former President Trump issues a ruling on a gag order.
U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan has imposed a limited gag order against former President Trump that keeps him from publicly attacking the witnesses, prosecutors, or court staff involved in the federal criminal case. While she won't stop the former president from criticizing people who live in Washington or more broadly the government, she did say he cannot attack special counsel Jack Smith or his staff and family.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Prosecutors requested a gag order after social media posts. Trump's lawyers say it violates his free speech rights. Fewer murders in the U.S., down 6% in a new FBI report. But the newly released data also shows car thefts on the rise.
The number of car thefts jumped 10% in 2022. And are on pace to be higher this year. The FBI report says 1 million vehicles were stolen last year, and that includes stealing unoccupied vehicles, as well as carjacking.
Fox's Eben Brown, most of the perpetrators men under the age of 18. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's still a little bit on the cool side, but the winds are light. Actually, it's pretty nice compared to the weekend. 62 for the high. Tonight, clear and cold. 50s for evening plans. 38 for the chilly overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies after a cold start. Let's warm it up to 65. And Wednesday, partly sunny and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan. And when you are looking to secure a mortgage for the house that you want to make your home, you have to call or text Stewie, 314-324-4440. I'm going to challenge you. I want you to trust me on this. When you talk to Stewie and you give him the opportunity to earn your business, I'm putting my money on the fact that Stewie's going to be able to earn your business. Now, you might have somebody else, or maybe your realtor has recommended that you go with a particular lender. Just text Stewie and see what he can do for you. Because when you use the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, which is only available with Stewart's American Mortgage, you aren't going to pay any closing costs. This is something that is special to Stewie that if you miss out on this opportunity could cost you literally thousands of dollars. So give him a chance to earn your business. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. He can work to get you the lowest rates that are out there, but also with the bagel loan, save you on all of those closing costs that come with that real estate transaction. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Renowned economist Kevin Hassett is coming to St. Louis on Tuesday, October 24th. It's Mark Reardon. Join me along with the National Review Institute, the Show Me Institute, and Show Me Opportunity for this free event at the World Chess Hall of Fame. Reserve your spot now at 971talk.com/events.
Mark Cox here. Before you sell your home, you should know the facts. What's your home's true value? Which realtor will get you the most money? And as a seller, is the market still in your favor? I spent some time with my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Here's what she told me. The market is still in the seller's favor. However, these next few months before the holidays represent the last prime time to sell your home. Gloria said everyone knows you can't time the real estate market. However, you can sell your home in the months that are statistically the most profitable to sell real estate. For the past 20 years, Gloria's been successfully selling homes in our area. How's she been so successful? She already has the buyers, which allows her to guarantee to sell your home at your pre-agreed upon price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and if invasive plants and trees have overtaken your pasture, roads, trails, or dams, then you need Missouri Brush Control. Their special forestry mulching equipment helps landowners reclaim their property. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. To learn more, visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
It's worrisome, the possibility of having some sort of northern front open up. As we've said all along, we don't want to see this conflict widen. We certainly don't want to see the IDF have to devote resources to a second front. It seems to me like they're taking the prudent steps that they feel like they need to take for citizens that live up there. It makes eminent sense. I would tell you that as of this morning, we haven't seen any firm indications that Hezbollah has decided to go all in here and truly open up a second front for the IDF, but we're watching this closely. That's one of the reasons why, of course, we've moved military assets in the region to make it clear to any would-be actor that might want to get involved and broaden this conflict that they shouldn't do it.
Kirby speaking there about the fact that there isn't any firm indication that Hezbollah has decided to go all in. Joe Biden said on 60 Minutes with Scott Pelley, there's also no clear evidence that Iran is behind the Hamas attacks. What do I know? I have no extra intelligence when it comes to what's going on in there, but I think that there are a lot of conclusions that could be rightfully drawn about who's responsible for what. And if this war becomes a multiple front war for Israel, then the stakes become much, much higher. Let's get to somebody who does have extra knowledge on these particular kinds of issues. The Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood, back with us on the Annie Frey Show. Dakota, thank you for being here today. It's good to talk to you.
It is always great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. I want to give you the opportunity to set the stage for us right now. Israel has been looking to move into the Gaza Strip. They've sent a lot of rockets over that way. The ground invasion is said to be occurring at some point here. But we're talking about other multiple fronts that could be involved. And then we hear words like Iran and Syria and Hezbollah through Lebanon. Set the stage for us as to where it is right now and then maybe where it might be headed.
Well, I know you've been covering this, and everybody has an opinion on it. Number one, from the Biden administration, they don't have a track record where I believe anything that they say to begin with. Two, yes, there is an absolute danger of escalation, both horizontally, meaning more players involved, and vertically, meaning the fighting gets more and more intense. This concerns about Hamas and how many rockets that they accumulated over a number of years, and they're still continuing to fire these at Israel, is just an indicator of what's possible. Hezbollah, at the northern end of that, Israel is a country operating out of southern Lebanon, has accumulated almost 200,000 rockets and missiles. So if they really wanted to harm Israel, they could just unleash that, and it would be dramatically more destructive in terms of rocket fire than what Hamas was able to do. In the background hovering is Iran. The administration can say all it wants to about no direct evidence, but clearly Hezbollah and Hamas would not have been able to exist for the last 40 years without Iranian support and encouragement, the provision of weapons and training and all of that stuff. So even if the Ayatollah didn't have his finger on a trigger, Iran is the background actor responsible for all of this. The more Israel gets engaged in ground operations into Gaza, which will happen, or has to devote resources to dealing with a potential threat from Hezbollah, it creates windows of opportunity for Iran to do even more things. And they have terrorist organizations that act as proxy forces operating in Syria. And you've seen reports of Israel having to attack targets already in Syria. So it's an absolute mess. I lay a lot of this at the feet of the Biden administration, and it extends to the Biden administration's attendance to what's going on in Ukraine, how they're supporting or not Taiwan, the open border that we have across which flows a stream of humanity, almost 3 million illegal aliens this year alone. So it's just a mess, and I regret that we have the administration in office that we have today.
We're speaking with Dakota Wood, who in 2005 retired as United States Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel, serving 2 decades in the Marine Corps. And you're a senior research fellow for the defense programs at Heritage Foundation. Right. Let me ask you a very simple question, because this is what is being discussed quite a lot in political circles. But has the United States enriched Iran, helping make them capable to do what they're doing right now?
Oh, absolutely. And it started with the Obama administration, relieving a lot of the sanctions, putting kind of a moratorium that Iran promised to hold to on further enrichment of uranium. But everybody knows that they've blown through that. There are some reports that they have enriched uranium up to almost 90%, like 87.5% or something like that. You don't need anything more than 4 or 5% for any kind of research or medical use, and yet they're enriching it 60%. The IAEA and other organizations have assessed that Iran has enough highly enriched uranium that if they further refined it, they could have maybe a dozen bombs worth of material, right? So that's a serious problem that was enabled by the Obama administration. The Biden administration freeing up, they've refrozen reportedly, but freeing upwards of $6 billion, while that can only be used for food and medicine and those sorts of things, it relieves Iran of having to spend its own money on those same materials, and so it can reuse its own funds to continue to support terrorists. So these 2 successive Democrat administrations have really made it possible for Iran to do very, very bad things that emboldens organizations, terrorists like Hezbollah and Hamas, that then led to the horrific, brutal attacks that Hamas perpetrated on Israel a week ago.
You know, I've seen images, many of us have, whether you're seeking them out or not, people are being confronted with what Hamas did to Israeli families, to Israeli children. And now we are seeing with the attacks into the Gaza Strip from Israel, pictures of these Palestinian children with blood on their face trying to escape this rocket fire. What is the difference in those two instances, the Israeli children that were murdered in their home, and now what's the distinction between what these Palestinian children in the Gaza Strip are experiencing?
Hamas deliberately targeted grade schools, elementary schools, children, young people, women, elderly women, and aged men, deliberately targeted them, deliberately beheaded infants and Israeli soldiers, and all the things in perpetrating these attacks against civilians. On the Palestinian side, Hamas has refused to allow Palestinians to evacuate northern Gaza to get safer in towards southern Gaza, have refused to allow them to do that, and for a few decades, documented cases, have put their own armaments, munitions, command and control facilities, planning and training facilities inside of mosques and other religious institutions, universities, schools, and hospitals. So Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields because they know that the Israelis won't attack through those to get to the terrorist targets. The unfortunate aspect of what we're seeing today is that Israel has to strike back. And because Hamas won't allow the civilians to leave, the destruction that comes from return rocket fire and attacks against military targets ends up causing casualties with the civilians. So the Hamas side, it's intentional. On the Israeli side, it's circumstantial where they can't avoid that sort of damage.
Yes, absolutely. Hamas is using Israeli children as human targets and Palestinian children as human shields. That's so well put. We're speaking with Dakota Wood right now with the Heritage Foundation. Is there a policy that America could put in place right now that would cripple Iran's ability to fund this war?
Yes, you could try to argue for additional sanctions. I mean, if you wanted to go in kind of a cyber kinetic sort of way, you could use certain cyber tools to actually take down all their banking infrastructure and deny them access to any kind of funds. Now, those sorts of tools are very closely guarded. Once you've used them, you reveal the ability to do that, and you wouldn't want to reveal secretive sorts of things to any other competitor if you, for example, got into war with Russia or China. So there are certain things that the U.S. could do but won't. The problem with getting additional sanctions and freezing up additional monies is that you have to get the buy-in from countries like Russia and China, which have been cozying up to the Iranians. You know, anything that harms the U.S. is to the benefit of China and Russia. They see Iran as a useful idiot in these sorts of tactics. And so they're going to continue to buy Iranian black market oil and get funding to them through, black market and behind-the-scenes sources. So there are things the U.S. could do that should be doing to push those kinds of measures. But I don't think that India and China and Russia and others would want to play that game to the extent that we would need them to.
Dakota, before we let you go, I want to ask you about the ground invasion into the Gaza Strip from Israel that has been mounting now for days. We've seen the rocket fire. We've seen them leveling these buildings. What I hear is that urban warfare is some of the most tough warfare that exists. What we've seen already is horrific. What is coming after this ground invasion begins?
It'll be bloody and brutal and high casualties. Urban conflict is always a very destructive and high casualty producing form of warfare. You have seen the overhead images of Gaza City and how a lot of these buildings have been rubbled. So now picture you're an infantry force trying to make your way through those damaged buildings, climbing over rubble. You can't get your armored vehicles in where you need them to be. Any window or any doorway in any of these high-rise buildings is a sniper hide. You can mount ambushes. You can booby trap buildings. Any building that's rubble now becomes a defensive fortification in some way, where you come around a corner or over a pile of bricks, and all of a sudden there's your enemy. So it's extremely close quarters battle. You don't know you're on your enemy until you get there. Any kind of fortifications make battling through that much more difficult. But how else are you going to kill the terrorists? How else are you going to rescue the hostages? And you can't say you're not going to do that, because that opens the door to attacks from everybody else. So it's just it's an unfortunate, ugly reality of war that has been enabled by the Iranians, that's been made possible, I believe, by the Biden administration. And now we will see the costs of those decisions enacted upon Israeli soldiers, Israeli civilians, and the Palestinian civilians.
Well, it's going to be hard to see in the immediacy and raw nature of this 2023 digital reality that we live in right now is going to be, it's going to be jaw-dropping for the world to view, Dakota. And we're appreciating you give us the heads up on this as we move through this conflict.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.
Yeah, God bless you as well. Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, retired Lieutenant Colonel in the Marine Corps, Dakota Wood. Great to have him on the show to talk about these horrific events. To think about, like, imagine if social media existed in the 40s, in the 1940s. Imagine if people could post what they were seeing in World War II. Imagine if people could post what they were experiencing in gas chambers during World War II. Would that have slowed? Would that have changed anything? Would that have made people, like, the actual visual of what is taking place, would that have motivated the world to stop war, or would it have angered the world to participate in the war? I don't know what the answer to that question is. It's kind of a frightening question to think about. The YouTube live chat poll, also a frightening question to think about. I want to know what you think about this. If you go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we're broadcasting live. Hello to the folks who are watching right now. The YouTube live chat poll says, is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? We're going to discuss this when we return here from taking a quick break. Figure out what you have to say about it. A lot of people commenting on this need to know exactly what it is you think about it so you can vote yes or no. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? And if you so choose, leave a comment. We might read it on the air. Like Larry says, no, he is not calling the shots. He doesn't even know how to exit a stage. My favorite quote from that comedian is, every time Joe Biden goes to leave a stage, he looks like a Roomba. And you think about it and you're like, yeah, he does. That's not good. It's funny, but it's not good. Give us your thoughts on the poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
All right, it's cold outside, it's chilly at night, and you need to make sure your comfort zone is always right there in reach. Go to aircomfortservice.com, and you can learn whatever your HVAC concern is. Maybe it's a tune-up, maybe you need to replace the whole darn thing. Not really an exciting day, but once you get that new furnace in your house, I speak from experience as a customer of Air Comfort Service, the amount that we run, the frequency that we run our whole HVAC system, because they've replaced the whole thing, so much better on the energy bill each and every month. The old system that we had was decades old. It was time. And when we replaced it with a high efficiency one, man, that made a huge, huge difference for us. If you have a commercial repair or a commercial replacement in the front, in the picture here soon, I want you to reach out to 314-513-0091 and get a free second opinion on commercial HVAC repairs. They've provided residential and commercial heating and cooling services for over 50 years. So if you're looking at a steep repair bill or questioning the quoted repair, give Air Comfort Service a call and ask for that free second opinion. 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
I'm a pilot, martial artist, mountain biker, hiker. The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. And now that I wear the inserts all the time, I'm not feeling the pain. They're comfortable to have in, and it's uncomfortable not to feel them in my shoes because I know the positive effect they've had. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call now 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway in Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Enjoy comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. And Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
It's obvious. The unthinkable is happening. With all the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming. But a few did. Their guts told them something very wrong was going on. And now the headlines are proving them right. The people in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. Folks are investing in emergency food storage, and you should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells biomass stoves, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, gravity-powered water filters, heirloom seeds, and survival gear that may come in handy soon. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here from my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number 1 in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800, or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, Illinois Congressman Mike Bost will join us. Also, the very latest on Israel.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Everybody gets high sometimes, you know. What else can we do when we're feeling low? So take a deep breath and let it go. You shouldn't be drowning on your own. And if you feel you're sinking, I will jump right over into cold, cold water for you.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Places I will still be patient with you. And I hope you know I won't let go. I'll be your lifeline.
I wonder, Mr. President, what you would say to him if he is considering using chemical or tactical nuclear weapons.
Don't.
And I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran?
Don't.
Simple enough message there from the president speaking on 60 Minutes and really being pretty consistent with that very simple message. Don't. The YouTube live chat poll for today: is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? This is something that I've been thinking about. We talk about this all the time. Like I am an absolutely not. He's not calling. I'm a no. I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't think he's calling the shots. I think that he is involved in the conversations. I think that he is told what's going on. But I think that there are people more than there have ever been in my lifetime. I'm not going to say forever because I don't have the historical context to say that, but especially when, which president was it that was like not with it at all? I can't remember. I wish my husband was on break because he'd be texting me right now. And since the media wasn't the way it is right now, it's just like they could keep it from the American public. But the idea that the president of the United States, Joe Biden, is actively participating in assessing situations, is actively, aggressively thinking about things and putting the pieces together to come to an actual result and making decisions, I don't think that's true. I have not seen any piece of evidence over the course of Joe Biden's presidency that suggests that he's capable of doing such. That's the YouTube poll for today. So if you go onto the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we're broadcasting live there. There's always a chat that goes along with the live broadcast, and in the chat is where the live chat poll is located. So you can vote yes or no. You can also leave your comments. Mark says there's no way he's calling the shots. He can't decide what to have for breakfast. It has to be the DNC running the show. I don't think the DNC is running the show. I would say that the Obama administration is in full effect with Susan Rice and other people who are holdovers from the 2 terms that President Obama was in office. I think that they are very influential. I also don't get this wrong. Don't hear me say what I'm not saying. I appreciate when current presidents speak with previous presidents for context, for wisdom, especially if it's across the aisle. I think it's even more important and interesting to know that has happened over the course of America existing, that you would lean into these other, as of right now, men who have held this position. There's only, a few people on the face of the earth right now that would understand the pressure that Joe Biden is under at this very moment to make these kinds of decisions. And I think one of them is aggressively involved. There's a difference between seeking out wisdom and opinion and advice or thoughts and letting go of the reins, so to speak. A different Mark said, presidents don't, quote, call the shots, end quote. They seek information from their advisors and make the final decisions on some issues. I don't agree with that either, because the president is the buck stopper. And if a decision is made, there aren't decisions that are being made that would require presidential, at least consideration, that are being made in conflict with what the president thinks on a particular issue. There might be people who are delegated to come up with a policy position or a response or something like that, but it should be reported to the president of the United States. The things that rise to the president's, I'm not talking about the wallpaper that you're going to put in the East Wing or whatever. But the president of the United States does not release responsibility or authority to make the decisions on things. That's just not the way it goes. And to Mark's comment here, they seek information from their advisors and make the final decisions on some issues. I don't think Trump or Obama would agree with that statement. I think that they feel as though they make the decisions if they're in conflict with something that they found out that they didn't have a 60-minute long sit-down meeting on, that their influence is going to change something. I don't think that Joe Biden is in that position right now.
No. As a matter of fact, how many times have you watched Joe Biden come out and say something emphatically, and then within the next day or 2 days, you'll hear the White House come out and walk back what Joe Biden said?
Or state the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a softening sometimes. It's a, nope, that wasn't it.
That's not accurate.
What do you think? Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration?
Man, you look at how bad things are going, and it seems like in Joe Biden's history, he's been the type of guy who has gotten almost every major foreign policy decision wrong in his life. But you look at how things are going, but then you compare it to things like I just mentioned, where he will say something, and the White House is like, nope, not it. That's not actually accurate. So what did Joe Biden change his mind in the past hour that the 2 conflicting statements were released? No, Joe Biden isn't making the final decision. He will be in the room, like you said. He'll be part of the conversation. He'll say his little mumbling piece and be like, okay, that's great, Joe. And then they make the decision without him, and they just implement it. I think you're right. I think it's Obama. Not saying that Barack Obama is pulling the reins or pulling the strings or whatever.
I might be.
But it is definitely former Obama administration
Mm-hmm.
people within the Biden administration White House that are implementing Obama-esque policies, foreign policies, and I would almost dare say without the restraint of Barack Obama.
Yeah, I understand that. Greg on YouTube says, no, he's not calling the shots. He said he always wanted to be president, so he tells everyone what to do. But now that he's president, he takes more orders than he gives. What do you think, Ryan? Is he calling the shots?
No, he's not calling the shots. The way that I think it's being done, though, is that he does think he is. And I think that his advisors bring him a multiple choice on any issue and say, well, we could do this or this. But they're controlling those choices very, very closely. And so he may have some say in which one they do, but ultimately it's everybody around him who's framing up everything that's happening around him.
Do you think that if they are so certain of what they're going to do before they present it to the president that they're going to spend that much time making him feel like he's the president? I mean, it seems like at that point it's a waste of time.
I get what you're saying, but I do on the big ones because he's got to believe that he's in charge before he goes out on camera and starts talking about these things, which is, well, after I say that, it's actually not that often that he's going out and talking on camera about these things. But among the big issues that are news-making headlines that we talk about, I do think that they are presenting options to him, and maybe they know ahead of time which one he's going to pick, and they make it so obvious that he has to pick one.
I mean, what you're saying, though, Ryan, and I'm curious, Brad, if you think that this is the case, because we certainly don't know what the inner workings of the White House look like. What Ryan seems to be saying is that everybody is indulging the president in this idea that he's the president without really having him participate in the actual responsibilities of the presidency. Brad, do you think that there is like a show going on around President Biden to make him think that he has this type of authority and presentation? I'm kind of, and again, we don't know. This is all speculation, but I kind of feel from the way it looks for me that they keep him in the background as much as they possibly can, but he's still the president of the United States, that his presidential responsibility is his going out and talking as limited as they possibly can get away with. But that outside of that, I don't think they're disrespectful to him. But I don't know that he really even requires faux pomp and circumstance to play along on some sort of game.
No, I don't think it's a game. Actually, to be honest with you, I think based on what I've seen of his what appears to be failing mental comprehension abilities, I think that he's very susceptible to suggestion. I think that they will go in with the policy. They'll convince him that it was his policy, and he'll go along with it. And then those moments that I'm talking about where you see he comes out and says something, that's something that they haven't had a chance to talk to him about. He makes a statement that's old Joe Biden's statement on it, and then they're like, no, that's not it. And then they come back, and then they quote unquote, convince him that this is what we're actually supposed to be doing. And then he's like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that instead. So I think that it's more of a convincing him behind the scenes rather than like, hey, we're trying to oh yeah, you're the president, blah, blah, blah. They just go behind the scenes and they're like, listen, Joe, this is the way this is going to go and this and this. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, that's good. He just kind of goes along with it.
I'm going to get in trouble if I XYZ. They told me that I'm only supposed to ABC. They said I need to blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm supposed to call on Jane, John, and Sammy. Like, I can't remember in my lifetime a president who spoke like that.
No.
He's so given into publicly in the limited times that we hear from him. He is so surrendered to being managed. How does a person who's so transparent with that management of his most basic maneuvers, and I get it. Yes, I know. People who have a very high end, you don't have to be the president of the United States. You'd be a CEO of a big company. You have people who handle details. But I don't know anybody. I can't think of another example where that person gives up so much air of power and authority to the people who are handling them. It's such a softening and a weakening of the power of the presidency. The thing that Joe Biden embodies is an office.
Mm-hmm.
It's not limited to just the man. It is the office of the presidency. And to suggest that the most powerful person in the world, many would say, is constantly being talked about what he's been told to do is very disconcerting to me. And if people have told him to stop doing that, he has not stopped doing that, which is kind of ironic, honestly. They told me they told me not to talk about them. He just kind of panicked, like, oh crap, I did it again. It's just, if you're thinking about the fact that Joe Biden is on the doorstep of being a wartime president, I'd love to know what your answer is to this YouTube live chat poll. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? We've got more comments coming in. Joe said, is the sky blue or cookies good? Is Joe Biden calling the shots? These are all easy questions to answer. Well, I need to know. I have a feeling I know which was going to win this poll, but I'm really interested in how heavily it's swayed. Maybe I'll be shocked and it won't be the way I anticipate the results to come in. But the only way for us to find out is for you to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel right now and vote in the live chat poll. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? All right, let's take a quick break. A lot people want to know more haunted stories from the Annie Frey Show. I don't know that there are any. I don't know that there are any. The Original Springs Hotel in Oakville, where I was at yesterday to speak to the Washington County GOP, was a wonderful event. It was at the Original Springs Hotel. I found out on the way there that it was haunted. I didn't know that. And then when I went there, I'm like, this is one of the most amazing October places you can visit. So I want you to go check out the Original Springs Hotel in Oakville. And if you're looking for a fun thing to do, a night to stay, they've got a mineral bath there. They've got a spa there. Get a massage. It's fantastic. Great food. Go check out the Original Springs Hotel. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Gateway ENT is accepting appointments right now from you. If you have an ear, nose, and throat concern that you're facing, don't put it off. Don't think about how it's going to take forever to get in. You can get this problem solved maybe fast. 314-843-3828. 314-843-3828. My husband has been dealing with sinus issues for as long as I've known him. In the morning, it's really awful. And he went to see Dr. Hardiman to figure out and finally get to the bottom of it. And they're making great progress. If you have an ear, nose, throat, sinus concern, if you have a hearing concern, if you have some sort of ringing in your ear or maybe some muted ability to hear, don't think that this is just the way you've got to live for the rest of your life. Get it looked at by one of the amazing ENTs on the team of ENTs at Gateway ENT. Go online to gatewaydrs.com, gatewaydoctors.com, and learn more about this, one of these oldest private practice ENT groups in the bi-state region. And they are private practice, which means they don't have to refer within some sort of system that's not going to put you at the center, kind of puts the system at the center. You're in great hands at Gateway ENT. Schedule an appointment today at 314-843-3828, online at gatewaydrs.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
We've been here 30 years.
30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
You step out of the shower smelling fresh, but for how long? Body odor starts forming immediately, especially if you use soap. And your only defense is the 2 inches of deodorant you applied to your armpits. I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the inventor of Lumi Whole Body Deodorant. It's so easy to use, I'm going to talk you through it on the radio. Just a pea-sized amount of our invisible cream rubbed into the nooks and crannies like a lotion with fingertips. Or pick a stick for pits and other flat surfaces like thigh folds and underboob. Glides on smooth for a touchless application. Both are clinically proven to block odor all day and controls odor for 72 hours on pits, privates, and beyond. So you're going to smell better naked everywhere. It's that powerful.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 555 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 555. LUME deodorant.com, code 555.
We were just talking about it. We want to know what you think. The Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll today: is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration, yes or no? And leave a comment. We want to know why you think what you think. The time right now, 1:46. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Happy birthday, 97.1 FM Talk. Your home for conservative talk, serving St. Louis for 23 years. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You'll say we've got nothing in common, no common ground to start from, and we're falling apart. You'll say the world has come between us, our lines have come between.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And I said, what about breakfast at Tiffany? She said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it. And I said, well, that's the one thing we got.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Brad, this clip here from Kevin McCarthy on the Speaker of the House, when was that pulled? Do you know? Cut 16?
I think it's pretty recent.
Like today? Because...
yeah. I want. It was Brian Kilmeade is who he was with.
Let's listen. Oh, then it was on this morning, maybe?
Yeah.
I feel very good about where Jim Jordan is at. He has been an integral part of our team when we took the majority, helping us get the majority. The real challenge here is, and I know a lot of people out there are afraid that, will Republicans break off and go work with Democrats? The only reason anybody's even talking about that is because 8 Republican members worked with every single Democrat to remove me from Speaker and put us into this tailspin, and all based upon keeping government open.
So Kevin McCarthy saying he feels good where Jim Jordan is currently. Sarah Jacobs,
House
Democrat.
Democrats are united behind Hakeem Jeffries. We've got 212 votes for him, and we've been having both public and private conversations with Republicans about our willingness and openness for a bipartisan way forward. And I'm hopeful that some Republicans will take us up on that because, frankly, the idea of Jim Jordan as Speaker, someone who actively worked with President Trump to undermine the election in 2020, who has done so many other awful things, I think is simply untenable. And this is critical. We need to get a speaker so that we can pass necessary legislation.
Just play that clip for every Republican in the House. Jim Jordan will go through unanimously. I mean, gosh, this isn't hard. Come on, idiots in the House. Get your act together and vote Jim Jordan Speaker. I don't care which Republican you vote as Speaker. Just vote for them and get it done. Stop jacking around and start getting back to the business of the people. Completely unrelated. Here's Matt Gaetz.
But what the swamp is trying to do, they're trying to delay a vote for Jim Jordan because they know he is not beholden to the lobbyists and special interests here. So I'm in this interview with you to turn up the heat on Patrick McHenry and any Republican who would try to delay a floor vote on Jim Jordan. If they don't want to vote for him, let them do it in public. I'm tired of these closed-door private struggle sessions that House Republicans have been having. Instead, we need to move to the vote and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I don't mind what you did, but you had to have a plan. You didn't have a plan, and you, Brad, I'm going to let you make the point you made earlier because I agree with it.
I'm listening to him. Every time I hear Matt Gaetz speak after basically single-handedly ousting Kevin McCarthy, he's like just on board with whoever. Yeah, Steve Scalise, Jim Jordan, great, let's do that.
Why?
Because I think he knows he messed up. I think he's like, he saw what happened. He goes, I messed up. I think I messed up.
Homer Simpson into the hedges.
I don't think he thought the Democrats would jump on board with him. He thought it would just be him, his 8 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he was expecting this not to go through, and then it did, and he went, uh-oh.
You just need to have a plan. You need to have the plan B. If you're gonna throw a wrench into the whole system and stop the operation, maybe don't do it on the eve of war, and maybe have a plan that people can get behind. And he didn't. And regardless of this was the initial conversation we had on this particular issue. If you do the right thing for the wrong reasons, is it still the right thing? And I think this is a pretty good example of why it's not. Because when you do it for the wrong reasons, it's really hard to get people behind you. If this was actually about one-issue bills, if this was, about the things that Matt Gaetz was listing when he was pursuing this, and he could get everybody behind him, I just want to know, why are you doing this right now? Why is this the time? If you don't have a solution, and we have, going back to the YouTube live chat poll, a president that it is questionable whether or not he's even calling the shots in his own administration. That's if you think he is or isn't, go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. And the Republicans have one branch of government. Can we pretend in public like we have our acts together? Please. I'm not opposed. Like, if Matt Gaetz would have gone through and done what he did what he had done, there was initially talk that there would be a vote that day to replace a speaker. That didn't happen. It's supposed to happen tomorrow at 11 o'clock our time. And if that is what is happening, we will come in early, and Brad and I will bring you the breaking news as it happens and cover it live. But you don't have a plan. I am talking to people that are in Congress right now who are telling me Jim Jordan does not have the votes, will not have the votes. It's not Jim Jordan. And these are people who support Jim Jordan, are actively lobbying for Jim Jordan to get the votes. They say he doesn't have them. So now what? Are you, if you were Team Gaetz before, are you Gaetzing even harder right now? Does it feel really good? Who are you people? I want to know why you are like this. I want to know who's looking at this right now and saying this is what we need. Because I don't see it.
Yeah. And if it's not Jim Jordan, who is it?
Pick literally any Republican. And agree. They don't even have to be in the House. They don't.
No, that's true.
Do you think there are some people who they got behind the Gaetz thing just because it was let's shut it down. Let's not do anything. The government is better when they do absolutely nothing, so let's make sure we're doing nothing and that they're still there.
Are you talking about, like, of those 8 people? Or
Not
are you
just those
talking
8,
about
but
supporters?
Supporters nationwide who say, yeah, I like what he did, and let's keep it there where the government is doing absolutely nothing.
I hope not. I really hope not. Government is a necessary thing. It really is. Otherwise, why even have a government? Like, we can't get along without government, guys. I know that, like, government is super irritating most of the time, but it is a necessary evil. I mean,
especially when the yahoos who've been in charge of it for so long have bloated it outside of the realm of where it's supposed to be, and now it's so intricately involved in everything. I mean, that's how we never have spending cuts, because the entire campaign season is all about how Brad Range wants to defund small children and not let them wear diapers. And it's like, well, I can't vote for him. I mean, that's the way the whole process goes. I don't know if I'm checking, Brad, but there's a meme floating around, or an image floating around, that says that Ann Wagner is one of the anti-Jordan ones, and we have been told that is inaccurate.
Yeah, I've heard off the record from people that that she's saying that this isn't true. So I've reached out to her office. I've offered them a chance to come on and clarify her position. We'll see if we can get her on. That would be great. But if they vote tomorrow, I mean, we'll know soon enough.
Yeah. So just because somebody's sharing something around on Twitter does not make it accurate. And it is, from where I sit right now, not at all confirmed that Ann Wagner is one of those people. So anybody who is using this as an opportunity to dunk on Ann Wagner without knowing from her own words, maybe I missed something. There's a lot of bloodlust out there right now. I mean, even Kevin McCarthy, that's why I asked you when that clip was. Mm-hmm. Kevin McCarthy coming out and talking and throwing his full support behind Jim Jordan. That is a smart political move by Kevin McCarthy. That makes Kevin McCarthy not look like the baby here.
What it makes Kevin McCarthy look like is somebody who genuinely cares about what's going on with the Republican Party and the direction that the party's going. He's like saying, hey, all right, I didn't win. I'm not the guy. But we need to get a guy in here, and we need to get going.
Yeah, he does come off looking really good here. And he looks like, the old phrase, the adult in the room. That's what he looks like.
The Ann Wagner statement on her website right now released the following statement on the House Speaker's race. Let me be clear. I am not and will not work with Democrats as our Republican conference comes together to elect a conservative Speaker of the House. Too much is at stake to hand control over the House over to radical liberal Democrats, which is why we must elect a conservative as the next Speaker. Throughout my time in Congress, I've always been a team player and supported our Republican nominees out of conference. Jim Jordan and I spoke at length again this morning, and he has allayed my concerns about keeping the government open with conservative funding, the need for strong border security, our need for consistent international support in times of war and unrest, as well as the need for stronger protections against the scourge of human trafficking and children exploitation. Jim Jordan is our conference nominee, and I will support his nomination for Speaker of House on the floor. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
It may not be the first thing that I'm supposed to say about Fountains Family Dentistry, but these are just nice people, and I love highlighting that aspect of Fountains Family Dentistry simply because if you have to go to the dentist, it's not something you always want to do. It's not something you really ever want to do, but you have to. You might as well have a good experience where the people are looking out for you, and that is Fountains Family Dentistry. They're in Fairview Heights, Illinois, and it is past the middle of October now, so looking down the wire and looking down the end of the year now, if you want to get in before the end of the year or you want to schedule an appointment when your benefits start again, this is the best time in January. Call them now, and I'll give you their phone number here real quick, 618-622-1800. They're on the Illinois side of the river, and they're very, very easy to call, to talk to. They'll walk you through everything and make the experience as painless as possible, and I mean that in a pun way. 618-622-1800, FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues, and now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Drury Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call today at 314-238-7360. That's 314-238-7360. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Diplomatic priorities. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The State Department says freeing hostages and helping Americans leave Israel top the agenda for Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who's been meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister and Defense Chief today after trips around the region.
Over the weekend, Blinken met with the Saudi Crown Prince and Foreign Minister in Riyadh, pressuring them to help keep Hezbollah from entering in full scale this war. He also met with the Egyptian president in Cairo Sunday. Their focus, preventing this conflict from spilling over into a major regional war.
Fox's Jillian Turner. During today's meetings in Tel Aviv, Blinken and Prime Minister Netanyahu sheltered in a bunker as air raid sirens sounded. Hamas firing longer-range rockets into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. A landlord in suburban Chicago faces murder and hate crime charges, accused of killing a 6-year-old boy and critically wounding his mother because they're Muslim.
71-year-old Joseph Zuba was intensely interested in the conflict in the Middle East and told his wife he wanted the Muslim family to move out of their home. Saturday morning, Zuba, who has no prior record, went and knocked on the front door, and according to police, when 32-year-old Hanan Shaheen answered it, he attacked her, choking her and stabbing her more than a dozen times with a 12-inch military-style knife, and allegedly yelled, "You Muslims must die."
Fox's Matt Finn in Chicago. Shaheen fought back and escaped to a bathroom to call 911, but later found her son stabbed 26 times. There's widespread condemnation of the attack, including from the White House, and the mayor of Plainfield says there's been an outpouring of support for the family, especially from the non-Muslim community. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan says he feels good about the momentum as he builds support ahead of a possible vote for House Speaker tomorrow. In a letter to colleagues today, Jordan pledging to bring all Republicans together if he wins the gavel. America is listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss, even when you monitor your credit. If your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Partly to mostly sunny skies going through our Monday afternoon. It's still a little bit on the cool side, but the winds are light. Actually, it's pretty nice compared to the weekend. 62 for the high. Tonight, clear and cold. 50s for evening plans. 38 for the chilly overnight low. Tuesday, sunny skies after a cold start. Let's warm it up to 65. And Wednesday, partly sunny and 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
How about getting started on that next great project in your backyard and having 4 years interest-free financing to pay for it? Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mention my name, and they'll give you 48 months interest-free financing. That's 636-532-4054. Get started today. Get your free estimate. The fantastic thing about Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been around 55 years, operated by the same ownership all that time, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. They will give you no obligation estimates and free project design. Maybe you've got a great idea for the backyard, or maybe you'd like them to bring something to show you that a neighbor has done. Whatever that happens to be, fences, decks, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, patios, they can handle it at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Remember, tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. Get 48 months interest-free. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com.
CAJonesInc.com. While we're talking here, I'm going to myself go online to CAJonesInc.com because one of my favorite things to do in my spare time is dream about the home that I'm going to build. Yes, still in Illinois, the most gorgeous homes, and you can customize so much of them. There are a lot of people who are looking to downsize, maybe after the kids leave the house. You've got this big house, you bought it, it's like kind of a 90s to early 2000s house, and it's too much house. When you are considering downsizing, consider building the perfect home for you with C.A. Jones. When you go online to CAJonesInc.com, they're celebrating 25 years. You can go to where it says Home Builder Resources, and they set you up with so many different opportunities to really play with and think about what would be best for you in that next home, and it gives you the power and control to choose these types of things, and you can do that all for free right there at CAJonesInc.com. They have an interactive design tool. You can see all the different floor plans that they have. They also have 3D tours of homes that are available right now for you to buy. Get your next home build or new build by going to CAJonesInc.com.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Siding Express can totally transform the look of your home by installing Hardy Shake, board and batten, or a stone accent to make it your dream home. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor. Go to sidingexpress.com to schedule a free no-obligation consultation today.
Whatever happens next happens here. Your trusted voice for 23 years. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Particularly frightening story from Yahoo Finance. The over 65 group is particularly value conscious. Older Americans are losing their appetite for restaurants such as Cracker Barrel and Olive Garden. Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, this is a paradigm shift.
I love both of those restaurants. Are there the Olive Garden to me it's almost like it's an idea that exists, but I can't reach it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like I don't ever go to Olive Garden, but it always sounds great.
I agree with you, and that's because you have to say the Olive Garden. You can't just call it Olive Garden.
It says Olive Garden in the story.
No, you can't do that.
I think you
that
can.
story's wrong.
I think you don't. This is according to Yahoo Finance. The price of eating food away from home in August has gone up 0.3% since July and a whopping 6.5% compared to last year. According to the latest Consumer Price Index report, you always hear people talking about CPI. Several fast casual chains like The Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's have reported consumers pulling back as prices have swelled. Older folks, especially those with lower savings and who rely on limited income from Social Security, could be feeling the strain more than other groups. Cracker Barrel says it's seen traffic decline across the board, but its younger clientele haven't pulled back as much as the over 65 group. Is that just because they're dumb?
Yeah.
And that's all I have about that. Let's change gears. I mean, if you're over 65 and you're on a fixed income, you're probably paying attention to those things more than young people are. When you go to a restaurant, you're paying for two people.
Yes.
What if you are going to sit down in a restaurant, in your mind, what are you thinking it's going to cost?
$50.
You're in for 50.
I'm in for 50.
If you decide to go sit down, you're thinking $50.
At least.
If the Wiggins family goes to sit down at a restaurant, not a fast food restaurant, you're sitting down, you're being waited on, you think the checking account's going to get dinged what?
I'm hoping we can get out of there for 100.
For 5 people?
If the kids are ordering off the kids' menu, we'll be okay.
What are you eating?
If they're not, well, it depends on what kind of restaurant, I guess. If we're going to where I would like to go sit down and have like a nice meal, then
Applebee's, Cracker Barrel, Olive Garden, the Olive Garden.
I'm still saying close to 100. I'll say 80 to 100. Yeah.
I was going to say, our family of 6 with a 13-year-old boy who eats more than a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's $80 or so. But you got what do you guys have?
Well, you got to remember, if we're going out to a restaurant, it's restaurant time. I'm not going to spare expense. I'm going to get exactly what I want. We'll probably have a couple drinks, and the bill goes up.
So you're drinking alcohol?
I think so.
Or are you talking like
Diet
Cokes?
No, I mean, I'm just having a kitty cocktail. You know that.
I'm go crazy, get a Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Cherry.
Extra grenadine, please, Monsieur.
Sorry, this is Applebee's.
The wife, she might have a drink or two if we're at a restaurant because we're at a restaurant.
So you act like maybe this happens twice a year.
It doesn't. It doesn't happen a lot because it's going to cost us too much.
Well, that's a good part of the story to detail to add in. How often do you go sit down in a restaurant with your family?
I'd say once a quarter max.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even if you include the times you sit down in a restaurant when you're with other people?
Yeah, I think so. Now, me and Katie will go out on a date probably once every month or two, separate from the kids. But with everybody, I'd say max 4 times a year.
Wow. I think we were just talking about this Friday, but my family, the 6 of us, do not go sit down in restaurants, but we order out. Do you order out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely do. We order a lot of to-go meals and stuff.
Do you order to-go meals from sit-down restaurants?
Some.
Like what restaurants?
Ravanelli's has a good to-go meal. Carry out.
Ravanelli's to feed your whole family, what's that cost you?
$35.
Is it like a family meal?
Family chicken meal with a side of salmon for Katie and salad for everybody.
And it's $35
with
tip,
bread.
Tracks included?
It's a good deal.
With bread. Bella Milano in Edwardsville has a family feast, and we love that. That's probably about $50. And it can feed all of us, but if there were more food, people would eat more food. That's kind of where we're getting, which is like, go eat a piece of fruit, kids.
That's funny that you do that. So we do the same thing.
If I'm sitting down at an Applebee's, I'm thinking if alcohol is involved, it will be over $100, but it's probably $80, $85 with tip. But everywhere I go, I'm looking for ways to game the system. For instance, in Applebee's, they'll have it's not 2 for $20 anymore. I think 2 for $25 might be the cheapest one. And there's 2 for $25, 2 for $30, 2 for $35, whatever. And we'll get I think with the kids, it's 2 for $25. We get 2 chicken fingers and French fries and 2 salads, and we split the salads up among the 4 kids. And the chicken fingers and the fries amongst the 4 kids.
Well, I like this.
So it's $25 for 4 kids.
That's good.
Which is cheaper than you're going to pay for their kids' meals, and it's more food.
Mm-hmm.
And then my husband and I will get whatever we get. But, I mean, even if we ended up getting because I would usually get a steak or maybe I like their Fiesta Lime chicken and the green beans. But that's usually maybe 2 for $30. You add on a margarita, and now you're pushing it.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, it's probably $55, $60 for the 6 of us to eat. But I'm massaging the whole system to get it that way.
I'm glad to hear you doing that because you speak my language now.
I have 6 people to feed.
I know. Last night I had a buy one, get one at Dairy Queen. And
who knew this was going to be show content?
Let me tell you about your
yeah, I would tell you my war hero story. I got a buy one, get one at Dairy Queen, so I got the biggest of the blizzards to buy one, get one. And my wife said I only want a mini one. So I know that later in this week she's going to want another one. So I got the biggest blizzard, put it in the freezer.
Ew.
And then later,
no,
I'm going to give her the rest of that blizzard.
No, I'm not eating that.
No?
No.
It is different after.
Good for her if she does. I don't begrudge any. I'm not a leftover person. My husband loves it because he is a leftover person and he will eat leftovers forever. But I don't think that I need a report.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. She doesn't necessarily know that I've done that yet.
So you're going to eat it?
No, because she gets a type of blizzard that I'm not a huge fan of.
What is it?
It's the Oreo chocolate, and she uses chocolate ice cream a lot, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm just going to store that away, and then on Wednesday or Thursday when she goes, oh, man, you know what sounds good now that the kids are in bed is a blizzard. I'm going to say, great, and then I'll go get myself a blizzard, and then I'll come home, maybe even with an extra cup, and then put the rest of the blizzard in that cup and see if she notices. I think I'm going to do that.
What if she notices that it's old and doesn't
then
like
I'll
it?
tell her. I'm not going to hide it from her.
And then you're going to go back to DQ?
No.
Because the money that you didn't save on the bigger blizzard that you bought, that you spent more money, and then the gas to go back to DQ when you're like, yes, honey, and then you leave?
It's not going to be, I take exception to the word old, because it's going to be in the freezer, so it won't have the same consistency. I got to let it melt a little bit. I give it that.
It's going to be hard as a rock.
Yeah, it'll be harder.
And it'll melt from the outside in.
Yes,
it's not
it will.
like it'll melt
so
evenly
I have
across.
to stir it up myself and see if it works.
Well, make sure that when you go over and hand it to her, you turn it over in her face the way you're supposed to a blizzard. And
I
if
will.
that thing plops out, then you can be like, I'm sorry, honey.
I'll go get you a new one.
The middle of that thing was totally frozen. Honey, what's up with that?
She's got a black eye.
So if she takes a bite of that and she goes, Ryan, this doesn't taste good at all, what are you going to say?
I just start spilling my guts. No. I'm like, listen, here's what I was thinking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I did this, but this is what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe I could get it by.
And you're sitting there with your fresh blizzard while this is happening?
Probably.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, probably.
And then what happens next?
Then I say, you know what? I need to go back out anyway. Why don't I just get you one while I'm out?
And she says, why didn't you do what you needed to do when you went to get your fresh blizzard?
She would probably say that next.
And then you would say?
I would say, you know what? These are tough times. Bidenflation.
That doesn't work.
No?
It's not going to work.
In that situation?
It's not going to work.
I think there's a lot of things that I don't know that one's going to work. I've never tried that. It's so interesting that it came up now.
I think that what you should do, I think this is the way that you stick the landing on this one, is in a few days when she says she wants her blizzard, you go out and you get them, and you get her a fresh one, and you bring it home and ask her to compare the two and just see if you're right for the next time. But I think that you've blown it on the buy one, get one. I think that you failed.
I'm not convinced yet. No, there's still a second half to this that needs to happen because the first half worked. I was able to give her a smaller blizzard in a small cup and she was fine with it.
I know that, but you spent more on it than you had to.
No, because it was buy one, get one of any size. So
Yeah,
I was going to buy mine regardless.
Yeah, but you bought a larger size, which would cost more than the size that she wanted.
No,
You
I was going to
spent
get a
more
large.
money.
I was going to get a large no matter what.
But she
for
wanted
me.
a small one.
She wanted a small. So the second one can be either a small or a large. Cost the same.
You eat a large Blizzard?
Yes.
Wow.
S'mores.
My gosh, that's so many calories.
I know. It's terrible.
I just would it would feel laborious after a while.
Well, I get the shakes and then I just go to sleep at night.
Hope you wake up.
Yeah. Not the shakes from Dairy Queen.
Such contrived methodology of saving money. How often does it actually pay off?
It didn't save him money. It just made it so he could justify getting a large Blizzard.
I was probably going to get a large Blizzard anyway.
No.
There it is.
Yahoo Finance says Cracker Barrel says it's seen its traffic decline across the board, but its younger clientele haven't pulled back as much as the over 65 group. Older consumers may have initially worried about their health while dining in restaurants during the COVID-19 pandemic. Cochran says they could now be prioritizing how much they spend amid high inflation. She said the over 65 group is particularly value conscious, so we just haven't seen the recovery of that group in the way we would. Darden Restaurants representatives mentioned in a recent earnings call that its establishments have been seeing fewer older customers. I wonder if this will manifest itself in like better senior deals at places like Cracker Barrel and places like Denny's or Applebee's, anywhere. If this is across the board, if they will work to entice those people back in, or if they just can't afford it because the inflation is too high.
This is where we knew it was going. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that eventually it was going to start hitting just even casual dining and stuff like that. This is where, unfortunately, this is what recession looks like when this stuff starts.
All right, let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show around the corner. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration? Yes or no? We want to know what you think. You can leave a comment and tell us what you believe. Scoot says, I believe Biden is fully capable of performing the duties of a wartime president. I voted yes in the poll. Good for you, Scoot. Somebody had to. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Gotta make this dirt rock glow. Just so you know. Light shine bright.
The Retirement Advisory Group, you can find them by calling 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. They want to help you ease into retirement with relaxation, with the exhale, worry-free. Now, when you sit down with the Retirement Advisory Group, Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, you're going to talk to them about where you are right now. If you're in your late 50s, in your 60s, you're just about to retire, or maybe you have just retired, they will listen to where you are, and they'll tell you the tips and tricks you need to know to make sure that your nest egg is protected. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. They have helped many Annie Frey Show listeners and many 97.1 listeners over a decade get connected to that worry-free retirement that is so important. And when you're watching the news cycle over the course of what we've seen in the last week, months, last years, and it gets you worried about whether or not you're going to be able to retire the way you anticipate, don't. 314-993-9494. Set up an appointment today. It doesn't cost you anything. You can also go online to retirementkey.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to experience something paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable? Join host Jack Wagner on the podcast Otherworld as he explores spine-chilling real stories shared by everyday people who have experienced something unexplainable. Listen each week for first-person testimony from people who have come face-to-face with something that can't just be explained away. Listen and follow Otherworld, an Odyssey podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Guy from the Good Feet store. Listen, if you've been suffering with knee, hip, or back pain, I've got news for you. The problem may be right under your nose. I'm talking about your feet. Think about it. Your whole body is supported by your feet, right? So if they're out of alignment, that could cause issues, not just in your feet, but your knees, hips, even your back. The Good Feet system helps put your feet in your ideal position. And once you do that, everything from there on up just might work better. I'm sure you've been frustrated trying all kinds of things to relieve a foot, knee, back, or hip pain, but maybe the solution was right in front of you the whole time at the Good Feet store. Just stop in and meet with one of our specialists who will personally fit you with the perfect arch support system. They'll let you walk around, try it for free, then you decide if they work for you before you buy. How great is that? Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations in Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Find what you've been missing at the Good Feet store.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or 0 interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
They picked me up, put me in the county jail. They picked me up, put me in the county jail. I wouldn't let my woman come and go my bail.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Grateful for your afternoon time spent with us. We appreciate you when you're here and encourage you to connect with us on social media, podcasting, and to watch us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. When you get a free minute, you can put it up on your smart TV at home, and we'll love keeping you company there if you want to give that a try. The Annie Frey YouTube channel, every day we do the live broadcast on there. In the chat portion is a live chat poll. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in this administration? Yes or no is today's poll. Go vote and tell us what you think. You guys, where are you at on Mike Lindell?
I like his pillows, actually. I've been sleeping on a My Pillow every now and then and enjoying it, but man, he needs to reform his presentation a little bit, because some of the facts that he had, that I listened to, I watched his whole movie in 2020 or 2021 when that came out, and I researched it, and I just was like, man, I can't even follow you. It was all over the place.
Brad?
Well, I used to like him. I mean, I thought what he was doing was good with his company. He turned his life around, made made big strides, built a company, used it to help other people turn their lives around. I think all of that is very honorable and great. I don't like how much he's gotten involved in politics, and I think he's gotten over his skis now.
The USA Today posted an article on October 11th, so 5 days ago. Attorneys for MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell want to quit his defamation case due to not receiving any payment from Lindell or MyPillow. Attorneys representing Lindell are asking the courts for permission to quit his case. According to court documents, Lindell faces a $1.3 billion defamation lawsuit by voting machine companies Smartmatic and Dominion Voting Systems. Attorney Andrew Parker claims that Lindell owes them millions of dollars and he cannot pay it back. Lindell spoke to the AP and confirmed that he does not have enough money to pay the lawyers and understands why they are dropping the case. Parker wrote to the court that he and his firm cannot afford to represent MyPillow through the rest of the litigation. Parker claims that this would put the firm at a substantial financial risk. Parker wrote in his filings that it says fillings. It's a mistake, right?
Fillings.
Is there a legal term here? I don't understand. In his filings, I believe, that Lindell paid the firm through the end of 2022. However, according to Parker, the payments slowed down in 23 when fees for litigation increased. In May, the firm received payments over 60 days late, and the payment did not meet the total of bills due. In July and August, no payments were made at all. Lindell and MyPillow were warned by Parker and his firm, Parker Daniels Keyboard, I don't know, and they would have to quit their case if payment was not made. What do you think about that?
I think he kind of just goes into everything swinging and doesn't really think long term how it's going to affect whether it be the issue that he's talking about at hand politically or his company. I think he's just gone in a little wild on everything, and this doesn't surprise me now to hear that he's struggling. It's sad. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ryan here on the it's unfortunate. I wish he wouldn't have done it. But he's kind of in a mess of his own making, so.
I don't hear anything that this man says and take it for gospel. And I don't really understand how he was able to influence so many people. I haven't seen, I mean, I'm not like, when it comes to conspiracy theories, Mike Lindell is in the epicenter of a lot of conspiracy theories that surround the 2020 election. And I don't talk about them on the show because I don't see enough evidence that warrants giving it a platform on the show. I pay attention to it, though. Like the idea that a lot of people will message me and be like, Annie, you need to be paying attention to this. Mike Lindell is uncovered. I'm like, he is a pillow salesman. And it's not that precludes him from being able to think about things or uncover things. But usually what makes somebody like that be in a position to pursue is resources. He doesn't have resources anymore. His resources are depleted. I don't love one of my biggest hesitations towards Mike Lindell is the overt usage of religious symbols in his advertising. I have no problem with religious symbols, whether they are mine or not mine, but it does not I don't see someone like, oh, they're a Jesus person, I'll buy whatever they're selling. That's not how it works for me. I do advertise for people. I have endorsers on this show, and I am who I am, and I talk about being a Christian, but I would never want to tell you, like, I would never want to be out there being like, we're Jesus people, so we buy all the same things. It's just not really what the Jesus part is about, Pastor.
This is accurate.
Yeah, I don't like doing it with veterans. If there is a business that is veteran-owned, operated, run, created, I want to tell you if I'm working with someone that this is veteran-owned. I think that matters. But I don't want to use veterans or military as really what I would refer to as a gimmick to sell things. I don't want religion to be used as a gimmick to sell things. And I can't separate the MyPillow thing. I can't separate the way the lines have been blurred so much between those. This is not something that makes me comfortable. I have purchased My Pillow stuff before, and I purchased it because I wanted to see how it was, and I've purchased it. I bought a My Pillow myself, and I also bought My Pillow stuff for somebody else who I will leave nameless. But the only reason I bought it for him is because the individual that I bought it for loves Mike Lindell and the politics that surround it. Like, it was kind of a funny type of thing. I went and got them like slippers or something like that, and they liked them. They had good things to say about the products that I bought. But it's hard. Mike Lindell is one of those people, one of those characters in our political landscape right now that to me does more to distract than to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be making some people upset by saying that. I'm not trying to make people upset, but just him being in the news and not being able to pay his bills, it makes me wonder what happens to him next, because he's got a pretty big chunk of change that he's going to owe if he loses this case.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to, I always want people to understand, what does a Mike Lindell look like to somebody who isn't engaged in politics, that isn't plugged into whatever is going on, that isn't as engaged as you are. You, as a listener of this show, you are very engaged in politics. You are engaged in probably more than 90% of the people out there. But what you have to remember is there's a bunch of people out there that aren't. A while back, and you were talking to somebody, and they were talking about Donald Trump, and they're like, is he running again?
Yeah,
and
like somebody very dear to me.
Yeah, and it's there. Understand, what does Mike Lindell's claims look like to somebody that has that level of engagement? And that's where Mike Lindell becomes a distraction, because then the left, being who they are able to then take a Mike Lindell and paint the entirety of the right as Mike Lindell. And they not just Mike Lindell, but the absolute worst parts of whatever he's doing.
If Mike Lindell wins everything he's fighting for, what happens? What's the outcome?
Man, I don't even know.
Wins everything he's fighting for business-wise?
No, he's fighting in court. This doesn't have anything to do with business.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
no, I disagree with that. I think that his business is completely predicated on people like me who will buy Christmas gifts from My Pillow to give to people because of a political thing.
I do too with him.
But
yeah.
but that's not the question. Every argument that Mike Lindell is making, if he were to be vindicated on all of those things, what is the outcome?
At this point, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what happens. I mean, if let's say the court says, "Yeah, you were right,"
I think it just I think it gets buried. It gets memory hold. Nobody knows. They just stop talking about Mike Lindell.
The problem is, I really did, and especially at first, because more recently he's lost my attention. But at first, when he would come out with these movies, and I say movie very loosely because it was him at a desk for an hour and a half talking with a couple people, but he called it a movie. And he would release spreadsheets and stuff along with these things. And I thought, I'm going to look into it. And I looked into everything that he was putting out, and even clicked on all of his references and everything. And
Did they all have My Pillow ads on them?
They did not, unfortunately. That would have been smart. I couldn't find anything. It was like loops. It just went in circles where people were referencing him, and then he was referencing them. And it never, at least at that time. Now, I haven't looked more recently, because after that I was like, okay, lost my interest. But that stuff I really did look into and took it very seriously, because like you said, hey, you got the resources. Maybe you're out there doing something that nobody else is doing. And I could not find really any hard ground to stand on with some of the claims.
None. I don't. I'm sorry for the people I've made angry.
Well, that's why I'm saying that.
What?
That I did look into it.
Well, I know I have too, which is why I don't make it a point. Like, it's not that. It's the fact that there isn't enough substance there to throw my hat in the Mike Lindell ring and go like, I'm with this guy. So I don't talk about it. I mean, good grief, folks. There are so many conspiracy theories out there that are pro-GOP, that are anti-Democrat, that are pro-Democrat, that are anti-GOP. And I just don't find value in the 3 hours that I have to spend with you every day, of which in those 3 hours, I'm fortunate to get 15 minutes with you because you're in the car when you're in the car, or, folks just put the station on all day long and sit there and listen to the radio the whole day. Nobody does that. That's not how it works. I have to pick and choose every day what we're going to talk about. And I just very rarely feel like the conspiratorial stories that are out there right now that may manifest themselves to be true. COVID was started in a Wuhan lab. Was I looking at those stories? You bet you I was. The different types of ways that people discuss information, honestly, the more that it seems to be suppressed on a lot of particular social media sites, the more I'm kind of curious to know the facts behind it. It's just what I don't choose to talk about because it's not like there's nothing else to talk about. So we try to mix it up. But I saw this story from the USA Today, and I just think it's worth mentioning in the broader context of every conversation we have every day. And I have said from the very beginning, and Brad, you can back me up on this as well, that any frustrations that people have with the 2020 election, if we're not focusing 100% of our efforts, maybe not 100%, 90% of our efforts on what they were able to successfully do before the election and how we collect ballots and in Pennsylvania with the Supreme Court being so aggressive and active in that, when the legislatures are the ones who are supposed to be able to change the rules, when we have ballots being sent out, mail-in ballots sent out to every registered voter. So there's just ballots in Nevada all over the place, and the voter rolls aren't clean. Like there are obvious things that we should be focusing every penny of resource that we have on fixing before the 2024 election, and this type of stuff distracts from that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we registering Republican voters right now? New Republican voters right now? If it were up to you, Brad, are we still talking about the 2020 election at all?
The only way we're talking about it is to look at how the Democrats used the rule changes to their advantage in 2020. How did they use mail-in voting? How did they use mass mail-out ballots? How did they use all of these things? How did they use ballot harvesting? How did they use these tools to help them in that election? And then how can we do it and do it better? Because what changed in 2020 was the rules on how you conduct elections. And right or wrong, right way or incorrect way, you can have that debate. The rules are changed and they are what they are. Now, some states have gone back and fixed it and changed it, but in the states that haven't, you have to play by the rules that are on the field, and you need to adjust your ground game accordingly. And that's what we would be talking. We would be looking at 2020 to see what we can learn from what the Democrats did and how can we do it better, do it faster, do it more efficiently so that we can win the election.
What I hear you saying is we're not trying to change the outcome of the 2020 election.
Right.
We're trying to change the outcome of the 2024 election by actively reacting to what we missed in 2020.
The advantage that is the Democrats should not be their advantage. We'll make it ours, and then we can watch them try to change the rules again.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Ryan, if it were up to you, would we still be talking about the 2020 election and the Mike Lindell kind of things?
Anytime any of those things come up, I do think they're worth looking into. But as far as winning 2024, I don't know that there's any legislation or changes that have happened or should happen between now and then that we haven't addressed. I think like what's been addressed has been addressed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anything between now and November of 2024 is really going to impact it, because there have been changes and that has been good. In a lot of states like Georgia, they bring up a lot, has passed some very good election laws. Should we continue to look back at 2020 as far as 2024 goes? I think it's time to look forward.
A lot of people correcting me and saying that they do listen 3 hours a day. So thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. But also we have definitely scratched, itched a nerve. What do you do to a nerve? Touched. You touch a nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've touched a nerve. There's a lot of people who are going to go get ice cream tonight. And Dash wants to know what's the blizzard of the month. And I've looked it up for you. It's the Oreo hot cocoa blizzard. So if you're seeking that out, you can go do that. And if you're super resourceful, get a big one, cut it in half, put it in a separate cup, and then try to pass it off as a gift for somebody in 5 days. And see if you are a winner or a loser.
You could wait a little bit and find out how mine went first.
You know what we need to do? We need to buy blizzards. Maybe I can come in tomorrow with blizzards, and we'll eat them on Friday.
I'm fine with that.
I'm sure you are. Especially the I'll buy it part.
Yeah, that's fine. And here's what we need to figure out. How far ahead of time do you need to pull it out of the freezer so that it's of the right texture to eat?
Here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to buy some blizzards tomorrow, assuming I remember. We will taste them every day, and we'll find out what the frozen shelf life is for a frozen blizzard.
Oh, this is not even where I thought this was going at all. I didn't know that a blizzard could even expire. I thought you could eat it 3 weeks from now and it's fine.
Guess what you're going to do? 3 weeks from now is November. We're going to have November blizzards. It might be a pumpkin one. All right, let's take a quick break. Go get your votes in for the YouTube live chat poll. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
ClassicKitchenRefacing.com. When you visit the website, let me get this blizzard here off of here. Classic Kitchen Refacing is the smart way to renovate your kitchen. If you've been thinking about doing a whole kitchen remodel, think about going Classic Kitchen Refacing instead, because it is an incredibly less expensive way to remodel a kitchen. When you go to ClassicKitchenRefacing.com, you're immediately greeted by a beautiful image of a brand new, gorgeous, modern kitchen. You too can have that. What they do is they come in and they reface your cabinets and they give them a beautiful wood finish or a paint color. They can add a very modern looking backsplash into your kitchen that can really make some of those colors that you might choose pop. They can put in beautiful Cambria quartz countertops and really bring your kitchen into 2023 and make it the show-stopping kitchen that you deserve. If you've been thinking about refacing the cabinetry, replacing the cabinetry, if you've been thinking about updating your kitchen, call them at 314-739-1730. 314-739-1730. You can visit them at their local shop in St. Anne, a wonderful family-run and owned and operated business. Great people ready to help you. Learn more at ClassicKitchenRefacing.com.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC. Just one pill a day blocks my frequent heartburn for a full 24 hours, giving me one-and-done heartburn relief. Without heartburn keeping me up, I could have a restful night's sleep.
Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Paramount Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. Go to thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
When it comes to finding the perfect grill, family-owned and operated Cotton's Ace Hardware has you covered. Get free delivery and free fuel on any grills over $300, and free assembly and haul away of your old grills with the purchase of a new one. With a selection from Weber to Traeger and your local retailer of the Big Green Egg, Cotton's Ace Hardware makes it easier than ever to replace your old grill. Let Cotton's Ace Hardware make your family barbecue more enjoyable with that one-of-a-kind grill you've been looking for. Find your nearest St. Louis area location at cottonsace.hardware.com.
This is Leah. I'm doing my first time check, and I'm not ready. They're making me do it. So here we are. On another note, I made my first Annie Frey Show YouTube short yesterday and would love for you guys to go check it out. It's on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page, and I think Annie put a link in the comments. So please go out there and comment on it, like it, and subscribe, of course, if you're not already. The time is 2:47. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Speaker of the Missouri House, Dean Plocker, with us.
We don't always agree, but we work together and we compromise. And I think that's what the taxpayers want. They want government to work for them and to work through the difficult things that we have to do.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Frey Show. All right, Ryan, how'd she do?
You know what? Out of 5, she did a 6.
Out of 5? 6 out of 5.
It's amazing.
Leah's first time check.
Yeah, inverted fractions. That's how well you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job.
Didn't have inverted fractions on the AFS bingo card for today, but yet here we are.
Is that even an inverted fraction?
Let's ask somebody who knows.
I think it's an improper fraction.
Sure. I don't know. Inverted.
Inverted.
I don't know. My wife will correct me when
I know. It sounded good,
like,
though.
Terry?
If you guys hadn't said anything, nobody would have said anything. Because it sounded very, very intelligent.
Unless you know math. then maybe not. Okay. YouTube live chat poll for today is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration. Yes or no? Ryan, you say?
No.
Brad?
No.
Annie? No. Leah, do you want to weigh in on this one?
Sure, I'll say no.
Sure. So we're 4 for 4. Almost 5 for 4.
Get that inverted fraction in there.
Inverted fraction. Yeah.
I bet Joe Biden would vote no on this one. And he'd be like, they told me to say that.
No, come on, man.
Some of the comments that we have here still that I haven't gotten to. Jackie says, Biden is not calling the shots, but sometimes he goes off script and rogue. When you think about the times where he's out there talking and he has this thing where he says anyway.
Yeah.
He starts to trail off, and I never know if he's forgotten what he is going to say or he gets into saying it and he hears himself. He goes, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about this. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is. You're right, because every time he does it, I'm thinking the exact 2 options that you're thinking.
And it could be a little bit of both.
It could be either one.
Dirk says no. The only possible decisions President Biden makes is regarding whether to have chocolate, vanilla, or tapioca pudding for a snack. Is it true that Joe Biden likes pudding, or is that strictly an old person joke? Because we know he likes ice cream. Like that is a.
It's documented.
Just like who didn't like broccoli?
Oh, was that Dan Quayle?
Mm-mm.
No. It was George W. Bush. Wait, H.W. Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird that you know that, though? I mean, eventually.
It was because it was Dana Carvey and the broccoli. Yeah. Okay.
So it's not unique to Joe Biden to know that he likes ice cream. The idea is that that's all the press asks him about. What kind of ice cream is that, sir? Oh, it's double chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Wonderful choice, sir.
Gosh.
Is that really it? Is that all we got? Ice cream?
I don't see any real connection between Joe Biden and pudding, to answer your question.
No, it's a real question because it is a common discussion.
Oatmeal in the same breath as pudding. Same kind of thing, right?
Wheat.
Oatmeal in the same breath as pudding.
Jell-O.
I had to describe oatmeal pies to my son the other day.
There's some in the drawer.
I love them. And describing them just doesn't make them sound appealing. I'm like, you just got to eat one.
Why? It's an oatmeal cookie with icing in the middle. That sounds pretty appealing.
I don't know. It just doesn't sound like, well, you take oatmeal and
Maybe
you bake it into a soft cookie.
Yeah. What?
That's what it is.
Delicious.
Yeah, but it just doesn't, I don't know. There's something about it that makes it sound old. Like, I got a Werther's in my pocket kind of stuff, you know?
Werther's can be good.
Not saying they can't.
If you really want to become the best version of yourself, ditch these 10 habits.
Ooh.
You ready?
Yeah.
Procrastination. Guilty.
Oh, so guilty.
I'll deal with that one later.
4 for 4. 5 out of 4. Negative self-talk. Guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah, like 3 for 4. 2 for 4.
I'm
Are you?
okay with that.
Do you have negative self-talk?
No, not really.
2 for 4. Living in the past. I don't really do this, but I had to be ejected out of it. I had to go through something that was so bad that I had to force myself to look forward because looking bad was too painful. And when I officially got over the said thing, it's a blessing now. It was very difficult then, but I don't live in the past. It's not worth it. There's too much in the future.
I agree. I have trouble forgiving myself for things, but I don't live in the past.
But you don't suffer from negative self-talk. Good.
No. No.
You're like, I really sucked at that, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'll pep talk myself out of it. I just don't know if I believe it.
I sucked really good at that one.
I think you might be lying, brain.
I don't even know what to do with that. Do you live in the past at all?
No, my past is not enjoyable, so I don't look back on it fondly. I like what the future has held and what is in front of me. It seems like there's always a new blessing for me, so I always look forward to it.
That's what it sounds like inside Ryan Wiggins' head.
Yeah, and
Blessings
sometimes I jump
abound.
into that stream and I believe it. Other times
Everywhere
I don't.
go. Leah, do you feel like you live in the past?
I used to. I didn't have a great past, and so for a long time I carried it around like baggage. And I'd say in the last 2 or 3 years, I finally have let it go.
It's so freeing.
Yes, very.
Well, we're glad you're a part of this being part of your future. Multitasking. Oh my gosh. I can't actually not multitask. I cannot sit and watch television.
Yeah, I get it.
Have you ever, the real question, folks, I think I've got a problem. Have you ever been sitting on the computer on Facebook and picked up your phone to check Facebook? Yes, Leah? And you're like,
No.
what am I doing? I'm sick. Admit me. I'm sure you have not done
I
that.
have not. I'm not that popular.
That's my problem. Have you ever done anything like that or been on Twitter maybe, Brad, and checked your phone?
So like when I'm working, I'll have Twitter pulled up on my screen, and then like I'll get a message, but I'll be working on something at a certain screen on Twitter, and I don't want to get off that screen. So I
there's
will,
extra Twitter.
Yeah, so I will DM on Twitter.
People pleasing. I'm unfortunate. I should probably be. I don't know. This is complicated for me. I'm not really a people pleaser. Are you a people pleaser?
I'd say maybe like 120% a people pleaser.
Oh, who? A people pleaser.
I'm so sorry about that. Please forgive me.
Bad. People, real quick, we don't have much time.
I don't think I am.
I don't think you are either, but you do please people. Leah, are you a people
I'd
pleaser?
say the same. I don't really look at myself as one.
Excessive screen time, guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 I don't really know how to get rid of that. Number 7, neglecting personal relationships. I have greatly limited who's in my circle.
You have to if you're going to have any relationships.
Yeah, I try not to.
Yeah, I don't think you're guilty of that. Leah?
I don't think so.
Not prioritizing sleep. Let's move on from that one. Anybody else other than me incredibly guilty of not prioritizing sleep?
I prioritize sleep.
Oh,
I do too.
When I grow up, I want to be Ryan Wiggins.
I
Let's just
don't.
put it that way. Number 9, ignoring your passions.
Oh, I do that.
No.
No.
It sounds like Ryan Wiggins is already his best version of himself.
I'm living my passion. So
Number
here we
10, last one, ignoring your well-being. This is something I'm trying to embrace right now, is making sure I'm taking care of myself instead of just always worrying about taking care of everyone else.
No.
You good?
I do that. I'm fine
You
with
have
that.
a lot of health issues that you have to stay on top of.
Yeah, I have to.
Same with Brad. And you're like an Olympic weightlifter or something, Leah. All right, we got to get to the YouTube live chat poll results. Is Joe Biden calling the shots in his administration with almost 300 votes? 93% of you say no. What kind of implication does that have on a world on fire? Don't go away. Mark Reardon coming up next.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Speaker of the House Roulette continues. We'll get the very latest. Plus, Congressman Mike Bost at 3:25 coming up. Now is the time to replace your home's exterior during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary with same as cash financing. Beautify the exterior of your home and save with famous James Hardie siding and Pella windows. James Hardie looks and feels like real wood with no maintenance. Call now for special financing. Let Banner Construction's exterior design team give you a free quote. Call 314-569-1050. That's 569-1050 or online, bannerconstruction.com. And have a banner day.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments until next year? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
So the Vitae Foundation is welcoming Al and Lisa Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family to St. Charles. I'm going to be there to be the MC, kind of the panelist that's going to ask them questions, and it's all to raise money to support the Vitae Foundation in their pursuit to make abortion unthinkable. Join me on October 26th and Al and Lisa Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family at Bogey Hills Country Club in St. Charles, Missouri. Al Robertson is the oldest son of Phil Robertson and Miss Kay. Al's wife, Lisa, calls herself the original Robertson daughter-in-law, and they have been a great part of the Robertson clan, and they're going to be with us there in St. Charles for this amazing event. Registration and the social starts at 6 p.m. at Bogey Hills Country Club, and then we'll have a dinner, and the program will commence at 7 o'clock. It usually goes till about 9 o'clock, but you got to get your tickets right now. 573-634-4316. That's 573-634-4316. You can find them online at prowomanaapproach.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.